up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going, Celtic Warrior Shaman?
Soda.
And I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Oh man, sometimes I listen to that intro, and it for one, it's awesome, but for two, I like hearing Kofi and Sheamus and Bayley all shout out the show in their own little way. That was like for little meet and greets. Obviously, they were trying to be nice and everything, and it's just so damn cool. And it's one of those things that came out of the whole pandemic era that I'm so glad and so lucky that we got a little something extra. That year we weren't able to go to anything. We got a little something to show for it. And it's just really fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
I am at Ref Marsh. This is at WOTR.
Lord. And I thought I was drinking.
Can we do that? Can we just... I mean, it's only episode 1. Everybody needs to calm down. Everybody relax. It's only episode 1.
I didn't realize we needed to practice that first line.
I need to practice. I need a couple of run-throughs. Guys, this is Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show. And this show is no different. This is definitely a first show. Definitely an episode 1. And you can find us at WOTR The Show. With me, as per usual, on the old Thursday Night Chaser, I'm Miss Amanda Jane.
Hello. You know, it's a good day when the host over here sounds like he's been drinking more than me.
Fucking wish. You know, probably what it is probably my alcohol blood level's too low.
Maybe. But yes, since I'm not like at that other hotel anymore and I'm drinking, hey, sponsored, not sponsored.
Hey.
You know, I mean, yeah, not pre-gaming. So, yeah. So progressively, we'll get there, people. We'll get there. It's been a rough day, too.
It's been tough. It's been a tough one. Let's talk. Let's get into it. Let's start with the easy stuff. Amanda, what's in your glass?
Well, I said I had sponsored, not sponsored. And today we're doing my tribute to PB&J. I have about a fourth of not this much, maybe, of Screwball in it. And the rest is fresh strawberry slush.
I never would have thought to mix peanut butter with the fruity slush, but is it good?
Well, oh yeah. I mean, I've only tried it with, because I was thinking, strawberry jelly or strawberry preserves. Mm-hmm. Yes. One day when I have time, I want to use my Carmela wine with the plain slushy.
Oh yeah.
But I want to experiment a little before I take it on air. Cause if it's like, whoa, way too much, then yeah. Like after hours edition or something.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I am having my vodka and my old keto soda. It is how I stay healthy and get drunk.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it's fancy. It's fancy soda.
It's really good stuff.
Fancy soda?
Yeah.
What's fancy soda?
Well, it's got all sorts of stuff in it. It says your brain's best friend. That's what it says on the can here. That's what it says. It's brain soda.
Brains?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is made with brains?
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, when I think of brains,
plus electrolytes, MCT oil, plus lion's mane, naturally flavored pear guava. Yeah, this is good stuff for your brains, man, I guess. I mean, it's really good. It's really good, and it's great with vodka, and so I have it, get drunk, and lose weight at the same time. It's what I'm doing. It's how I'm living.
My favorite.
Living life.
Mild standby, regular Coke with vanilla Stoli.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
That makes sense.
So,
I don't see it, so could you read it?
ow.
Yeah, we got takes in the chat. Just saying cheers.
The old Bishop coming through from TW Takes Podcast, Terrible Wrestling Takes Podcast, TW Takes Podcast.com/TWTs, promo code DIVEBAR. Get yourself a big old fatty discount on some real soft up on your skin tees.
Yes,
What?
they're so soft.
See?
I have my pink one. I would wear it right now, but I don't want to get it dirty.
He is saying, I watched AEW. I have Tito's and Crayon. Let's go.
Yeah, let's fucking go. Let's do it.
Whoa. You watched AEW. Oh, boy. Oh, this is going to be good. Maybe I need to pour more screwball in here. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. It's going to get wily real quick. Let's see. Well, let's talk about producer, are you drinking anything? Not yet. All right. Let's see. Let's tell you real quick about our buddies at Flow State Coffee, which is a specialty grade coffee with L-theanine and raw cacao for productivity and creativity. Better energy, focus, and mood than a regular cup of coffee, while decreasing negative side effects like anxiety and blood pressure. Find out more at newwave.co, NOOWAVE.co, and throw in that old promo code CHEERS for an additional 10% off any of their prices there already. Get those subscriptions, get the cups, get the shirts, do the things, and support indie wrestling at the same time. That's right. The owner, founder, Greg, is an indie wrestler trained by Lance Storm. So, win-win.
Woohoo!
So, the big news today, Amanda, was
news?
There was news, and it was not a positive news, but the beautiful Bobby Eaton passed away from the Midnight Express. Passed away at 62.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's big. And man, this is one of those times where I kind of harken back to that Roddy Piper interview when he said, "We're professional wrestlers. We're not going to live to 65." And I always go, that's such a crazy thing to say, but I mean, this guy was 62. I mean, you just always see that that's seemingly at least a thing that is it's still part of the conversation, and it's crazy. So, really sad. Midnight Express, one of the most popular tag teams in the history of wrestling, whether you know it or not, whether it was before your time or not, but they were the headline of a lot of the highest selling houses, as they say, I suppose. But they sold a lot of fucking tickets. They made a ton of money as one of the biggest draws in the territory days. And it's a bummer because they still were doing meet and greets together. Both Midnight Express and Jim Cornette would all go together for some of them, and you could get a picture with all of them. And it's like, man, that's a chunk of history. I think there.
Yeah, I think even almost every year at WrestleCon, you'd see the three of them.
Yeah, and I want to say Bobby Eaton was, I think he had a thing he was going to be doing here in the next couple months. He was going to actually show up to a meet and greet coming up.
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't know, just sad. It's a bummer, man. It's a bummer. I know that with all the talk that goes on nowadays about is tag team wrestling a draw, is it not, the one team that gets brought up the most of definitively yes. A lot of people want to talk Road Warriors. A lot of people think of their favorite tag teams when they were younger, but when you really want to look at the numbers and the nitty gritty of it, almost nobody did as good as Midnight Express.
No,
just across the board. So really sad.
Although as a child, I loved the British Bulldogs.
Oh yeah,
David Boy Smith, I'm a kid. I mean, but yeah, I mean, tag team wrestling. I think now it's either, I don't know. In my opinion, it's either you have people that should just be tag team wrestlers, and then you have some that you're like, no, don't throw them in with somebody. And then there's these lucky things that you happen to fall into, like Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr., which I'm like, whoa, that just kind of fit. That came out of nowhere. And when you have that kind of stuff, it's really cool to see. But, I think that tag team wrestling is really one of those things where you either really shine or you don't. Yeah. But see, that's why I think the Lucha Brothers are so good, because individually they're great. Together, they're still great. Yeah. And it transfers very well.
Yeah. And Midnight Express was mostly a tag team act. I know that they did some single stuff. And I think for the most part, growing up, our age demographic, we are used to seeing Bobby Eaton as sort of an underneath talent on WCW and WWE. They weren't together as the Midnight Express by that time, so obviously it wasn't the kind of thing that as a kid I could possibly appreciate them as much as I got to later on when you go back and watch some of the older footage and you just go, oh yeah, this is incredible. And when you think of teams like FTR, they'll talk nonstop about studying tapes of the Midnight Express, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's not great news to wake up to. It's a bummer. I say look out for whatever tributes you got coming your way. As much as people, as much as polarizing as a human being can be, no one comes more polarizing than Cornette. But no one was closer to the Bobby Eaton than Cornette. So I think that whatever he ends up putting out is probably going to be worth a listen, just because it's going to be a personal tale. So I'm not trying to say listen to everything all the time, but I'm anxious to see what he puts out, because I'm expecting something fantastic.
Yeah.
So tears in our beers to Bobby Eaton, a legend. Oh, let's see. What's up? What'd you have? What'd you say?
I said that was strong.
Oh,
Oh, we're in for it, people.
yeah. I'll talk about a couple things that we brought up yesterday. Me and Kevlar talked a little bit about, but you're gonna have a whole other side of the story to take a look at. So there was a few releases that took place. WWE released Bray Wyatt and Ric Flair. Ric Flair actually put out a comment about how he had requested his release and was granted it. And I don't know. I just was wondering what you thought about all that.
Oh, I didn't know about Ric Flair, but I thought he had didn't he have one of those Legends like contracts?
I don't understand contracts.
I don't know. Well, what? Oh, he'll be back at some point. You know,
Part of me wonders if he just wants to go to AEW just because it's the one place he's not been to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, he's worked for literally every wrestling company. And anytime a new wrestling company pops up, he's usually in contract with WWE and says, hey, Vince, can you cut me from it so I can go make money from this guy for a while? And he's always like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Well, Tony will shove money at him because apparently everybody's getting some kind of money from Tony Khan. I mean, we saw Everrise?
Yeah, Everrise
yesterday
showed up.
And Daniel Garcia. Yeah, I'm like, oh. But they weren't annoying, so that at least was good. I'll say that. But Bray Wyatt's very interesting. And I don't understand why. Is there some kind of does he have backstage heat or something or what?
No one knows.
No one knows.
No one knows. There's any report that you see just for the record is hyper speculation based off of wild guesses. And I know Meltzer said, well, he was told it was budget cuts. Well, unless Meltzer was the one, because that was the other thing, is that it was Meltzer reported that Bray Wyatt received a text message saying that it was budget cuts. So unless Meltzer was holding Bray's phone at the time, I don't know how he would literally know that. So it's wild speculation based off of conversations that people have had in the past, and I'm sure that that's the easiest, most go-to thing. Oh, budget cuts are budget cuts. But even if it's a budget cut, there's a reason why behind that's the cut that works into the budget. You know what I mean? There's something else to it, because that's the other thing is everyone has these conversations, and I saw some real wild ones where I believe our good friend Justin Time put out a tweet along the lines of, I can't believe they let Bray Wyatt go, but we're still seeing Eva Marie. And I'm like, those aren't the same conversations. It wasn't a this or that.
Yeah.
Vince wasn't put in a room saying, well, you got to pick Eva Marie or Bray Wyatt. They're taking up the same spot. You're like, no, that's not. There's just no way that that's part of the conversation. So no one knows. It's wild speculation.
If it was.
I would love to hear the story how it got to that point if it was. But yeah, no one knows. He just was released quietly on a Saturday afternoon, which is also weird because most of the releases happen during the week. So I don't know. Do you think that Bray Wyatt? I mean, I don't know. To me, I just don't know if Bray Wyatt is done with wrestling or wants to step away from WWE, or if WWE wanted out of the contract with Bray Wyatt. Like, I just don't know. There's so many options that all seem believable.
Yeah, he's such a creative mind.
Yeah.
And I think that everything that I've seen him do always fascinated me, because I just thought, man, that's a level of creativity that's upper echelon that you really don't see as much in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't. I didn't back then, you know. So I think that he's probably wanting to do, you know, something elsewhere, because it's like, how far can you take like The Fiend, and how far can you take some of this other stuff that he did? Because we never saw who Sister Abigail was, right?
Yeah.
No. Now we're always like, man, there could have been so many people that could have been, and it would have been fantastic. But I'm sure we'll see him in AEW. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
The only thing I saw him comment was just the circle. So, you know, infinity.
Yeah, the red circle. Yeah, someone posted his last promo, and he had alluded to the idea of this being the end of Bray Wyatt. But I don't know. I think that we're either going to see him in AEW, or we'll see him in Hollywood, or we'll never hear from him again. Like, I do think there's a possibility he just doesn't
Like
want to be
Braun.
a part of the world.
Braun, I don't know what's going to happen with Braun. That'll be
Who knows what's going to happen with
but-
Braun? That's for sure.
But yeah.
Part of me thinks that if we see him in AEW, I was wondering if maybe he would connect with Matt Hardy. That would be cool. Or, I don't know.
A lot of people speculate Dark Order. I don't know. I'll be honest. He could turn the Dark Order into a spooky, scary band of motherfuckers real quick if they listen to him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Whatever he does, I'm gonna be there for it. Do you think Ric Flair's gonna go to AEW? I think as soon as I heard that Ric Flair was released, I was like, oh, Tony Khan's throwing money at him, and Ric Flair just has his fucking trick or treat bag wide open, saying, "Give me another one."
Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it.
Speaking of Tony, him and Regal this last Sunday were at PWG.
Yeah, how was the show?
And my thing that makes me laugh is, it's like, come on, Regal. Most of these guys are signed by AEW. That's why Tony's here. Who are you going to pick out of the crowd now? Because most of them, there really wasn't anybody there that was signable.
It's a good call. A lot
Except
of them
Lee
were already signed.
Moriarty. Lee Moriarty. I'm a liar. Lee Moriarty was probably the only one.
And he's good.
He's really good.
Yeah, yeah, for
I'm
sure.
excited. Again, if you're near the San Francisco Bay Area, West Coast Pro, he's on the card again. This next month, coming up next Friday. Only 40 tickets left.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no,
Fantastic.
I don't work for them.
Now, are there any rumors as to closing any shows just because the pandemic is what it is?
So that's one of the rumors going around right now. SummerSlam may get canceled due to the rise in COVID cases. So if WWE is wondering if they're even able to do COVID, are you hearing that amongst all your friends in the indie market?
Well, I think the company that has probably, besides AEW, that has probably the most that's out there right now is GCW.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting. They're in LA this weekend. I am not going. I'm sad. But because I want to see fucking Zack Ryder and him get booed totally. I want to see that. And I've always loved.
He's not gonna be there.
Oh, he's not?
Yeah, he's already said he's not gonna be at the LA show. He says he's booked somewhere else already.
Oh, fuck off. Anyway. Fuck off, dude. Okay. No, but I think that it's funny that yesterday, AEW did Homecoming at Daily Space. Well, guess what? You're probably going to go back home for a while. But if I were them, maybe you need to go somewhere else, because Florida is one of those cesspools of, I'm sorry if you're in Florida, but, it's one of those cesspools of contamination. Just like I assume Delaware probably is too.
Delaware's a tough one.
Anti-maskers,
I will say, in the chat, though, Bishop does say, do you think these moves are just the end of the "they paid me for a year to stay home" narrative that some talents have talked about before? I mean, even Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins talked about that. They're like, hey, they're getting paid dream money to to be there to work for the company they wanted to work for. And then once they got released, it was all like, okay, well, now I can do other things, but they have no complaints about where their stance was. They stayed ready all the time, right? I do think that, yeah, I think that with the Nick Khan addition to WWE, it does feel like that there is a shift of, hey, we're not going to be holding on to people we're not actively looking to utilize. You know what I mean? Like having people just to have people, I think is going away. I think what you're going to see is AEW having people just to have people for a bit, because they are having, for one, they don't like to do any rematches at all. So it kind of really limits you if you don't expand your roster quickly.
Only with the Elite, and then now the tag team circuit has really stalled.
Yeah.
So it's the same almost all the time.
Yeah. So I do think that, I definitely think there's reason to suspect that the mentality of just keep him on the roster. We'll see if we get around to him. I think that is going away with the idea of AEW being open. And I honestly think that not only is it kind of smart, it's pretty cool. And I also think that it's just another sign of like WWE not being so concerned about the idea of a competition in the way of the war of WCW. It's not about keeping someone away. It's about, are we going to use them? Let them go away. Like Jim Ross says in his podcast all the time, go away and learn a new move. Like, what's to say that in 2-3 years, Aleister Black doesn't pop back up in WWE, bigger than ever, more fervor than ever? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't do anybody any wrong to show up somewhere else and create buzz. You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting also, speaking of Aleister Black, Tommy End, or whatever, Malachi Black, whatever you want to call him, how he's definitely very, very face in PWG. It was almost kind of like alarming, because I'm like, whoa, really? So it'll be their next event, Tremendous, which is trios, will be awesome, because he is partnering with Bandito and Brody King. They gave each other a big hug, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't know you were homies like that. But that'll be exciting.
That's good.
So I'm pushing for that. But with that being said, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of people that are going to be moved around, probably permanent things, and, got to be off rosters. Obviously, Adam Cole and his contract stuff. I mean, honestly, I don't see him on the main roster.
Yeah, so it's a perfect lead into what I was about to ask you. As of today, it was also reported that not only is Adam Cole's contract coming near an end, but it appears that so is Pete Dunne's. That doesn't mean anything other than, hey, they don't have a new contract signed yet. You know what I mean? It just means negotiations are probably open now. But for the fun of fantasy booking, because that's what it's all about, I suppose, what do you think about the idea of Pete Dunne or Adam Cole not re-signing with NXT, or do you think they should re-sign?
Personally, I think that Adam Cole probably won't, and he'll probably go to AEW, because his woman, DMD, is the shiznit over there. However, and of course, he's worked with all those damn idiots anyway, the Bucks, the Elite, whatever. So I think that that's fine. And there are other people that are small people that can make him look not as, tiny as like some of the people at WWE can. Pete Dunne, I don't think he's better off staying. But the thing with Pete Dunne that I don't know is how well he would be able to be on the main roster, because his style is something that most people who watch the main roster aren't into. And I don't know.
I think that Pete Dunne's style works better than Adam Cole's for the main roster, because he is so technical. Pete Dunne is more reminiscent of a Daniel Bryan than an Adam Cole was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Adam Cole's like the third Young Buck, where
he was.
I mean, so is Gargano, but
like when he and Steen and the Bucks were Mount Rushmore in PWG. I mean, you would be like, whoa, that's not Adam Cole. I mean, Adam Cole's a totally different beast now. He's not even a beast. It's just is totally different. So I don't know, but
Yeah, I don't see anything for Adam Cole to do in the WWE anymore. I think it's better for him to go there. I also don't see Britt Baker leaving AEW to go to NXT because she's going to end up being just another player in NXT because, quite frankly, she's not as good as most of the women's talent that is already there. So she's going to be struggling. And so if she can just stay in AEW and be on the top of the mountain, regardless of her having to get better or not, then why not? You know what I mean? You're making that main roster type money, but you're doing it without having to work towards it. Like you just already have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and where if she went to NXT, she's going to just be someone there because the NXT women's roster is so good and she'd be exposed real quick. So yeah, she's going to stay. And Adam Cole's already proved everything he can possibly prove in NXT. And I agree, in the main roster, there's literally nothing for him. His style doesn't mesh with the main roster. He could have maybe 3 matches with Ricochet, and then we'll be tired of him immediately. He wouldn't be believable against a Roman Reigns or even a Keith Lee or Karrion Kross even. Like, he wasn't believable against Karrion Kross, but there's, like, no one on the main roster for him to go into a match against I'm really going to buy into. Maybe Sami Zayn, maybe, but even then.
Yeah.
Bishop is in the chat. He does say Dunne is better than Cole. Prove me wrong.
Yep.
No.
There's no doubt about it. That one. No doubt about that.
And I think that Cole's style is much better for the main roster. Or not Cole's. Pete Dunne's style is much better for the main roster than it is for than Adam Cole's is. Adam Cole's is way too indie style, and Pete Dunne's is Pete Dunne's is very much a standalone mix. Pete Dunne's matches against the champions when he has them are fucking phenomenal.
But I will say this: the only reason why I would want Dunne to not sign is to see him in Japan, like New Japan. Like Jesus Christ! Like I can see some of the matches now. Him and Shingo Takagi. I mean, it just blows my mind. So
yeah.
But that's
what do you think about the? Yeah, and I agree. He'd be great there. But what do you think about the rumors that Ruby Riott is possibly going to AEW?
I'm excited. Did you hear about, like, speaking of Ruby Riott, she's now Ruby Soho, and the local friend of the friend of the wrestling community, Lars Frederiksen of Rancid, is letting her use their song too.
Yeah, so she's going to come out to Ruby Soho. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Ruby Soho.
I love that song. Anyways, I love that album. But anyways, no, I think that's a good move because I was shocked that they released her. I mean, hell, I was shocked when they released Crazy Mary Dobson too. What was it? Sarah Logan was her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like because that's another one. She I've seen so many times and incredible. And same with with Ruby Soho now, and she's phenomenal. It's like her and Kimberly, man, had some bangers back in the day.
Yeah.
And I always thought, did you just get rid of Kimberly because of her size? Probably. But you know what? That shouldn't matter. I mean,
no, she was having a lot of other issues.
Was she?
I believe she's come out and talked about it, but she was having like substance issues that she had to deal with, and she's clean now. But she was having a lot of issues when she got there because at first they pushed her before they pushed Ruby. They both signed on pretty close together, but they were really putting Kimberly out there a bunch. And yeah, she, she just wasn't able to make it work. So, but she's married to fucking Nash Carter now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So she's part of the family.
You think the wrestling world is a sick circle?
Yeah, I'm excited about Ruby going anywhere just because she doesn't deserve to not be on TV. She's one of the best women's talent in the world. My only concern about her going to AEW is I think the biggest problem with Ruby while she was in WWE is she got to a point where she was doing more and more silly shit. Like the way she started selling was cartoonish. The last run she had with Liv was weirdly like dumbed down. Like she wasn't who she was before. She didn't come off as intense. She came off as like a Leave It to Beaver type. And my concern is if she ends up in AEW, they're really gonna lean into like, do the goofy shit and really play it up, and it could get to a point where it's just to me, not as interesting. But she's so good when she's serious that I really
I don't
want
think
that.
they will, because they have enough of that with Britt Baker, and to some extent Jade Cargill, Nyla Rose.
Sure, they have enough of that, but that doesn't mean that they don't keep doing that. Like you said earlier, they brought in Everrise, and they're goofy as fuck. And I know you said they weren't goofy in this segment, but if you go to their Twitter, they posted a promo video that I only got 3 seconds in before I said, this is worse than before. They are doing the same bullshit. They're doing, it's like they've already got, remember we called Everrise fucking Best Friends Light? It was like a knockoff of Best Friends. They already have Best Friends.
You did, episode 1. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for them to be all like, oh, let's bring in Everrise, they're definitely our style. It's like, no, you already have plenty of that goofy, stupid shit. Like, bring in, and then you see what they do to guys like FTR when they bring in serious talent. They just fucking bury it down. Like,
well,
so
I think, I think too, they didn't get signed. I think they were just there. And unfortunately, because they have name value, they were on, the national TV. So, but again,
Yeah. Bishop is in the chat. He does say Ruby was a little cartoony. I loved her at house shows. She's so unique and a badass. 100%. And that's what I mean. It was like right at the tail end of her tenure in WWE. She was starting to get a little bit too cartoony for me. She always had a little bit of an edge to her. She almost was reacting almost like a child would react. Like you would say something and it'd be a surprise, and instead of someone going like, whoa, I'm surprised, it was just like, eyes all big, looking everywhere, like, what? And you're all like, okay. Yeah. Not only are you overacting, you're overreacting an overreaction. Like, it was just a bit much where I was like, okay, bring it down a notch and you become believable. Like, maybe that's how you react in real life, but no one else I know does.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So, and that's all I mean is I hope that she wasn't doing that to maybe maybe she was doing that in WWE to get noticed. Hey, maybe if I do this, people will talk about it. I'll become a GIF. I'll do this thing. Maybe she'll do a little bit less in AEW. But if you ask me, AEW is a GIF company. They want more GIFs and T-shirts than they want anything else on TV. Mm-hmm. If you have an entire match that turns into GIFs because everyone's laughing at it, they go, that's a win. And maybe it is a win. I don't fucking know. I'm an old man. What do I know? So, yeah. I do want to see her do more of that. Anything else that you had news-wise before we just get into AEW?
I did want to say this in case no one saw the tweet. So I finally saw Fast 9. I'm not going to give out any spoilers, but I will say this. Shout out to whoever director Justin Lim had as his cameraman, because the first time we see Cena, we don't see his face. What do we see? We see his bootay. See?
Good looking butt.
Yep. Yeah. See, everybody knows. So unlike Captain America, really, truly, America's ass belongs to John Cena. That's all I know. Speaking of booties, hey. But yes. So I just wanted to point that out. So rock on. It's actually a very good movie. He's graduated from the Marine in 12 rounds. Although I did like 12 rounds. I'm not going to lie. I did. I enjoyed it.
That's good.
Good.
That's good. Mm-hmm. Well, then let's get into it. Let's talk AEW.
Yeah.
AEW Dynamite.
Dynamite. Well, first thing before we get into Dynamite, you saw the commentary team of Rampage, which premieres next week.
Yeah, they announced the Rampage announcer team was going to be Taz, Excalibur, Chris Jericho, and Mark Henry.
We're just acknowledging that Chris Jericho's on his retirement run, pretty much.
I think we all wish that were true, Klump, but we just don't know. I think that what it really is, if I'm being honest, is it looks like a retirement run because I think that Jericho's like the Mad Hatter. He's going to celebrate his birthday, and every day after, he's going to celebrate his unbirthday.
Yeah.
He was trying to run this so people will just adore him with adulation, forgive him for any mistakes. The fact that him and Hoovy nearly killed each other 4 times, irrelevant because it's a retirement run, right? But then what's going to
Yeah.
happen is he's going to keep going and do another one. He's going to be doing the Cher farewell tour schedule. 6 years of farewell tours. Look it up.
Yeah.
Klump.
The Klump.
Well, if she could turn back time, maybe she could do the one retirement run.
She still has talent, okay?
Oh,
You can turn back
I will not
time.
stand for lies and slander. That ship sailed long ago, if she had it at all.
Do you believe in life after Klump, after Klump, after Klump?
That song is awful. Auto-tune. Yeah, no.
It's if you want to do something fun, it's the same voice to do Cher in that song as it is anytime Michael McDonald sings for the Doobie Brothers.
No.
It's just slightly pitched up. Just
No. No. No.
Yeah.
Feeling it.
I listen
Feeling
to
it.
Yacht Rock and on Sirius XM. No.
Wait, did you just say you listen to hard rock? Why are the Doobie Brothers appearing on
Yacht
hard rock?
Rock.
No.
No, Yacht
Rock.
Rock.
Oh.
Yeah,
Rock that
Yacht
you would
Rock.
hear on a boat,
Mhm.
except not the boats and hose type
That
songs.
sounds profoundly upper middle class.
It is.
It kind of
Yeah.
is, yeah.
You wear white shorts,
Wear white shorts, little.
But what if I poo myself?
tucked in polo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doubly
And
bad if I
have
poo
nice
myself.
big sun hats. I have a nice big sun hat over here. I'm not gonna put it on, but
There's a whole lot of don't poo yourself talk going on right now.
yeah,
Oh yeah, dude, it's an impossible task.
yeah.
Jeremy's in the chat. He does say, I've also heard the Iconics were going to AEW as well. Of course, that's just rumors, but I prefer them in Impact in the Knockouts tag division. Jeremy, I wish I gave a shit. Do either of you guys have anything to say about the Iconics and where they go from here?
No.
No, me neither. I will say that that Peyton Royce did say in an interview just the other day that she's the reason the Iconics broke up. She went to Vince and said she wanted to do a singles run, and so he said that then whatever you like, I'll do it. And then she flubbed it, and they both got fired because Vince is like, this is worse than the thing before, and I can't go back now. So everyone who blamed Vince can go ahead and point that finger right back towards Peyton. She does say she regrets it. I'm sure she does, but. But I don't know. Being a dick aside, they do seem like incredibly nice talent. They seem like they're really awesome to have in the locker room. Everyone seems to love them. So wherever they go, I'm sure they're going to do just fine. Like, they've got star power. They've got potential. They got on-screen presence. Wasn't my cup of tea, but I think that they belong somewhere in there.
Yeah. No, there's not a place for them in AEW. Not saying it to be mean. I'm like, there really isn't. But if they want more goofy shit, then good
Yeah,
on
they
them.
do.
I mean, I think
Go
in
ahead,
a
Tom.
sense there's not a place for them in AEW because there's so many people taking that spot that they get lost in the shuffle. Like, which is a lot of people. It's like, do we need more talent to be thrown here to be silly? You know, like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
They do. They just brought in Everrise, dude. This week they put Everrise on their show.
Oh, we
Remember
won't
how-
see Everrise again, though.
Remember how we said that we didn't like watching Everrise on NXT because they felt like they were part of AEW? They were like
Good news!
knockoff- Yeah, good news, everybody. It's a suppository.
They are now. They were.
So, but yeah,
That's a great
Grim Reaper.
Futurama reference. Clap, clap, clap.
Grim Reaper is in the chat. Cheers to Grim, cheers to Jeremy, and cheers to Klump, all of whom just joined the show.
Woohoo!
Grim Reaper does say hi. He goes, aha. He goes, I know there are too many factions in AEW, but I can see Ruby team up with Darby and Sting. Grim, I cannot. Grim says,
no.
if
No.
she comes across as dark and ominous, I think she'll look like a badass.
But look, I mean, we haven't gotten to this yet, but damn, nothing was dark and ominous like freaking Malachi,
Yeah.
Tommy, Alistair, Black
Oh, yeah.
End.
Malachi Black came out and he was like, oh, you guys all thought you were doing a dark, creepy thing? Joke's on
No.
you. Hold my beer. And
Yeah.
then he, in turn, by coming out, made Darby and Sting and
Look
the
like
Dark
fucking
Order,
amateur.
made them all look like fucking goofs. He was all
Yeah.
like, no, this is like how you do it for
This is how
real.
you do it. Yeah.
I mean,
And I was just
Yeah.
like, this is what we're talking about. This is it. Like, yeah. I was
And
like,
Sting's
why
like, I'm
can't
not
they
trying to do all that
be
for a paycheck. Sting's like, I was just really hoping to stand out here quietly. It's a lot to do.
No, it's just unfortunately, it's like he has that charisma, so it's like, okay, yeah. There's
ahead,
very
Klump.
few people who can pull that kind of shit off. And
I was just gonna throw out like a quick no, not hold my beer, hold my absinthe.
Yeah, hold my
There
absinthe
you
and my
go.
mead.
Yes.
Yeah, but need.
What's going on in the chat over there, producer?
So Mike is in the chat. He says, "Hey pals, I would like to say that AEW was super hit or miss for me last night. Maybe the worst Dynamite that's happened so far, at least in recent
no.
memory. Did not like
No.
the opening or closing matches and the promos that came after, and didn't like the elite stuff with the hoop. Like, what was that? Show felt really disjointed." And then he ends with, "But Miro is awesome, and I love the Layla Bunny match, Britt's promo, and TGE Christian match. Hope he doesn't face Kenny." That's what he says.
I could cry. I'm so happy right now. I'm soaking that in and getting energy life force from Micah's disdain of AEW last night. No, I'm kidding. What's funny is I did hear mixed things. I heard mixed things from people. We were watching it live as we were doing the show yesterday, which, by the way, for our Raw and SmackDown review show, we're going to be starting to do that on Wednesdays. It's just going to work out better for us. So that means we're going to do back-to-back Wednesday and Thursday. Thursdays will remain the same with Klump and Amanda, and hopefully you get more of the Ironics, me and Kevlar, on the Wednesdays. He'll want to take as much time off as he's had to. But as we were watching, I remember talking about the opening match, and I remember talking about the ending match, and I remember a lot of stuff was happening in between that I just didn't focus on. And I'm sure some of it was promos and I couldn't hear it, didn't matter, so whatever. I'm not trying to say that as a full-on negative, but it was, to me, it seemed like there was something a little off about this week. I also scrolled through my super chats. Not my super chats, it's
Klump,
a YouTube thing.
move your keyboard. All I hear is typing.
Oh yeah, slide it back. And then but when I was looking through them, I was like, oh, these people are going to fucking lose their shit over a lot of this stuff. And I scrolled through it, and a lot of people were all like, this feels kind of like a Monday Night Raw all of a sudden. And there was people saying like, hey, this is a little off. And someone said, I don't know what this is, but I'm not really loving it. And someone else was like, well, it's Cody. What are you going to do? That's just how Cody is. And I was like, there's a lot of forgiveness in this room right now, but a lot of people were complaining. And I was surprised. I thought overall people were going to say that it was a pretty perfect episode. So to hear it from you, Micah, who couldn't be as infatuated with AEW as anyone else I know, it's just interesting. It's an interesting take that it was hit and miss for you. And it's like I've been saying, I feel like a lot of the Dynamites I do watch feel like YouTube clip after YouTube clip. It feels completely disjointed with nothing taking it through. Like you can watch this 10 minutes and it's irrelevant to any 10 minutes before or after. So therefore you can kind of pick and choose your segments, which in some ways is cool, but in other ways is like, well, it doesn't feel like a full-on episode of something. It feels like a bunch of small things, which maybe is good. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's how Sesame Street did it. And I'll say this. Sesame Street made its episodes specifically combined with a lot of small clips because the idea was to teach children, and the idea is that children can't focus for too long, so you give them just enough of what they need right now and move on to something else entirely, because that's how it captures them throughout it, and they end up learning more things throughout than they would if you just did one lecture through, more or less, even with puppets and otherwise. If you watch Sesame Street, it's like 35 seconds, like minute and a half, like everything is short and disjointed that way because it's the only way they feel like that you can feed a kid that data. So maybe they're just doing their show like it's for kids.
Well, I don't know.
It's
Ask
not.
Tony about that.
I mean, it's not.
Front row agrees.
There.
Sorry, YouTube chat.
Hold on.
Front row agrees, says they're missing a through line during a whole episode, something cohesive.
Yes, a through line. Thank you, Front Row, for coming through. Cheers to Front Row, friend of the show. Good dude and cigar buddy. Klump, we should actually end up in a group chat, you, me, and Front Row talking about cigars. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I'm down for that.
Go ahead, Klump.
Yeah.
What are you going to say?
No, but I was going to say, like, it's not unfair to say, because in part, you could argue wrestling is a medium that's really aimed at kids. A lot of times that's what we see kind of the monopolization of it. It's why John Cena has the best merch sales ever, even though in some cities he's booed out of the building, it seems. It's why Roman Reigns is a crazy high merch seller and was kept as a face, I would argue, because they sell stuff. It's why there's this level of humor that while the content can be rather vulgar, crass, or violent, it has a through line of humor and a story arc that is multi-level. It's gotta be for kids. You can't just have somebody coming out swearing and cussing and going crazy, because wrestling is in many ways a kid's product. But it's funny to me that that's being thrown out, because AEW seemed to be born out of this fandom that was adults in the indies, these super fans, these, they get knocked as smart marks, these people that were like way into PWG and ROH and New Japan, which are not the kiddiest of kid promotions, and yet we get this show that is so fucking low. It's low-hanging fruit all day long.
Yeah. It feels geared towards kids, which I don't personally have a problem with. But you're right. A lot of what they said before is this isn't going to be that. This isn't going to be for kids. But then at the same time, when you say that the demographic starts at 18 years old, fucking sorry for any 18-year-olds watching, but you're a goddamn baby. Like, there is no 18-year-old that is an adult. That's just not true. Legally, yeah, I'll put you in prison for life. But mentally speaking, talking to an 18-year-old is not that far removed from talking to a 12-year-old. Just from a 30-year-old's perspective, almost 40. When I talk to an 18-year-old, I can't tell if they're 11 or 12 or I don't know what's going on. It's the same mentality. They just like to say bitch a little bit more.
Yeah. And they trade in like Monster and Rockstar energy drink for White Claw. And Truly.
Which is all fine, though. That's all I'm saying. Is this fine?
No, it's not.
I'm saying no. I'm saying it's fine to make a product that's kind of geared towards kids. Like you said, the Cenas are fantastic. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I do think that there's a certain point that as an adult watching wrestling, we do also have to understand and accept not only is it not every segment for each and every one of us, there is a large overlying story throughout that's going to have to be capturing the kids. Because at the end of the day, that's what captured us. None of us started watching in our 30s. Well, producer did.
Fair.
She started watching.
I wasn't exposed.
Hold on, Klump.
No, go ahead. Go to the chat real quick. I'll jump in after.
All right. Front Row's in our YouTube chat saying it's a different product. AEW here in Charlotte felt like Attitude Era energy. Raw feels the same whether you're in a crowd or watching at home.
You do, and that works actually perfectly to what I was going to say. I feel like if we were to make a product that was more aimed for that middle, not like kids, but kind of like, say, 13 up, it would have to be either Attitude Era, which doesn't age well. A lot of stuff really doesn't age well in Attitude Era programming, and it can't be put on, or you'd have to take a huge risk that I don't think anyone's willing to do. To be a very creative wrestling promotion right now with the national broadcast wouldn't really exist, because the last, I think, attempt at it, I would argue, was Lucha Underground, and I don't know if that's going to happen again.
Yeah. No.
It certainly isn't going to sell out stadiums doing that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it would. Wiggles sell out stadiums.
Yeah, but they also do Metallica covers when the cameras aren't on.
That's pretty cool.
They do. It's true.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's pretty cool.
Fruit
Big fan
salad.
of the Wiggles. So the idea that it feels like a Raw from the Attitude Era, I'm going to say comes from, this is just me speculating as I do as a wrestling journalist. That's why I make up things as I go. I'm going to speculate that what that comes from is just the raw energy from the crowd who's just excited to be there. And there is definitely a fan base. The large majority of the AEW fan base is passionately in love with the product and throwing that energy outward, whether it's good or bad. Or despite what it comes out to be, as long as it's not Vince McMahon, they passionately love it. It's this weird, they have more passion for hating Vince than they have passion for pro wrestling. So they don't care if it's good or bad. It's not Vince, and it's a big show, and they come with their energy and they fucking throw it at the ring, which I don't think is also negative. I think that's also pretty cool in a sense that, like, yeah, you're going to get those fervors. You're also going to get a tough gauge of what's truly working versus, I mean, the crowd loved it, but did they love it because it was good, or did they love it because it was AEW doing a thing that Vince would hate? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it then makes the I don't know if you're really trying to get, quote, casual fans or new fans or not, but it can definitely muddy the waters of what is actually working for only your audience versus otherwise, and maybe it doesn't even matter. Maybe all you want to do is work for your audience that comes out to your shows. I don't know.
Front row said I would watch the Wiggles versus Dark Order.
Oh, that'd be good. I mean,
Tough one to call, I'll be honest. Some of those Wiggles are in
No.
great shape.
I don't know.
Yeah, Wiggles are going over
The Wiggles are
Yeah.
going over. The baby faces, man. It's a baby face promotion.
for two
Cabana will take
reasons.
the pin. Cabana will take the pin.
Cabana will take the pin. And there's reason. I honestly, AEW's falling into this trap really rapidly of, if you are a celebrity and you're coming in, which is one of the bigger critiques I have of WWE, you're winning. You're going over. It's a wrestling thing overall. But yeah, anyone coming in
Shaq went
versus
out in an ambulance.
yeah, that
Let me hit the chat because we've missed a few things here in the Twitch chat. Bishop does say, if Believe only exists for the scene in Land of the Lost between Danny McBride and Will Ferrell, I'm okay with that. He's talking about Cher and how much we believe in Cher.
Oh,
I believe in life after Klump, after Klump, after Klump.
does not sound like Michael McDonald and the Doobie Brothers. I'm sorry.
Jeremy then does say, Everrise is the epitome of AEW dark and dark elevation jobbers.
Hey,
They'll just be slapped onto a show when they need an easy win for a tag team. Amanda, your thoughts?
okay. Well, first of all,
not wrong, but
no. Dark and Elevation, actually, to be honest, actually sometimes is a better program than Dynamite. That's why I'm like, no. And the jobbers of yore on on those ones, the tag teams, I mean, at first it was like, back in the day, kind of was Private Party a little bit. The Varsity Blondes, but now they're up in the ranks, and then you have the Acclaimed, again, up in the ranks. So
By up in the ranks, you mean that they're now on Dynamite losing instead of on Dark winning, right?
no, they're on both. They're in both winning or
Okay.
losing. Yeah. So
Because they definitely brought Brian Pillman over to job out after his Dark Side of the Ring. Which was neat. In decisive fashion against the Young Bucks. Really crushing and being like, hey, just don't get any ideas here. We understand he's popular and a great face for the company, but we're just don't get any ideas here.
yeah, I think that, but I will say the two programs are a little bit better. The wrestling's a little bit better. You don't have the stupid commentary that you get. Excalibur actually with Taz is better than hearing him with Shivani and JR.
Okay, but Tony Khan undermined all of that just by saying, we don't have a performance center. We have AEW Dark. Basically saying, that's where people go to learn. Please be nice. It's free. It's on YouTube. Please like everything I do. That's what he sounds like. to
Okay,
me.
first of all,
9
Tony needs
days.
to put the coke down. Okay.
9 days. 9 days on Dark Elevation. 9 days. We don't have a performance center in 9 days.
God.
Sorry.
Okay. If you don't go as Tony Khan for Halloween, I swear. I swear. You know what? You and producer lady need to go on the Jericho cruise with me, and you should dress up as Tony and do Tony. It'd be great.
That'd be good.
I can make it
That'd be
happen. I know people. I
Let's
can make it happen.
see. In the Twitch chat real quick, we're still catching up. Bishop does say, but the black entrance cut to commercial so quick I couldn't appreciate it. And that's true. Not only did it cut to commercial pretty quickly while it was happening, they did this whole thing with the lights going out, coming back on, so it was a little bit choppy to begin with. But in the Hulu version, if you buy Hulu Live to watch AEW and record it so you can see the episode, they still will go through and edit out parts. And wouldn't you know it,
Wow.
AEW Dynamite Hulu version. After the entrance, cut and went to a new show. They didn't even have the match or the aftermath. Really bizarre to me that you'd cut the main event specifically, but at the same time, I don't believe the people who watch those shows are the ones who are editing those shows, and I think they saw a whole lot of fucking talking afterward and said, yeah, most of this stuff's probably just for the crowd, thanking the crowd for being there, chop it out.
If you watch the link that I watched, which was the one on watchwrestling.in, I think.
Which we would never support because they have illegal streaming there, but continue.
Hey, I don't have cable.
Amanda,
Okay.
just continue, please. Stop it.
I don't have cable. And you know what?
God.
If I need to, if I need to watch whatever, put it on
Right.
YouTube. I mean,
Just-
geez, whatever.
I'm just saying
But
we don't
anyway.
support it, but continue. Plug it.
Well, the one I watched, he has a 2-parter high def that was uploaded on Daily Motion, and it doesn't look choppy at all. The entrance, it actually looks more complete. So that's why I was like, well, over here, like I don't know, but
Maybe I
that's
should
where
stop trying to do things legally. That's the way AEW gives it to me. I don't know what to do about that.
no, come on, I'm like one of their like big demographic. I'm the indie-rific, whatever. Like.
Maybe so.
And I mean, hell, I pay enough in watching, in paying New Japan and
Okay, Amanda, you don't have to sell people on the illegal streaming service.
Yeah,
It's fine.
no, like I've been trading with people, like I will say this, I watch ROH illegally. Why? Because I will never pay for goddamn freaking Honor
this
Club
is
again.
not getting
Okay.
better.
But anyways,
Hey, whoa. Guys, quit attacking Amanda. She has a good point. I'll be honest with you. She is part of their demographic. Their demographic is people who, no. I'm finishing my thought, producer. I have a
Yeah,
point.
let him-
I think it's a
let him
valid
go.
point. So,
Go on,
yes,
hit it.
exactly. So, these are people who, where the fuck did we watch New Japan or Ring of Honor or shit before they had these dipshit paid services? Through YouTube, things that some asshole recorded on their phone shaking because they just took a bump of coke. So,
Yeah.
I'm cool with it not paying. It's fine.
It's all good.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
good.
Front rows in the chat saying Elevation did over 300,000 views this week. It's a real TV show, not a training ground.
No, not according to Tony. Tell Tony that.
I think what Elevation needs to improve the feel is add in camera shakes and have so you can hear the crowd yelling words of offense that you would hear in the YouTube videos I grew up watching of wrestling
That'd be good.
from the crowd.
I think the other thing that Tony did when he said that was he completely, utterly, and destroyed the credibility of the Nightmare Factory, which is a real, actual training program that they have actual talent go through. It's not just some sort of faction that they threw QT Marshall in. It's an actual training facility that is owned and operated by AEW. And for them to go out there and say, we don't have anything like the Performance Center, really just fucking kick the leg out of the leg of the Nightmare Factory. And then
other people too. Like,
and then for them to say that
Starks
his
and Hobbs
elevation
and-
really undermined that too. He just doubly undermined himself. He was all like, not only do I not give a shit about what's happening in our actual training, I really like you to lower your expectations for what we're doing at the show that you guys are watching.
I mean, yeah, like beyond that, beyond Nightmare Factory, how many people from how many places have they pulled in that have worked for them? Like House of Hardcore, Reality of Wrestling, other smaller promotions. Just no, fuck it. We're training them through this on it. And if that's the case, also, I demand to see Billy Gunn come down and shut down a match. And be like, no, you're running the ropes now.
Yeah.
well, it's like Tony, you also just basically shat on, Billy Gunn's kids. Because that's all I've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen them on Dynamite.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
they're
actually, I haven't
training
seen them
apparently.
wrestle.
Going back to the chat, Bishop does say Dynamite must have been like Raw because I didn't hate it, which is funny. That's a good one. He's been liking Raw lately, so he's all like, "Well, it's getting better," and people are like, "It's getting much worse." And he's like, "I don't know, I'm liking
what were
it."
you watching? Oh my God, it was hit and miss.
Yeah, but so was Raw.
I
Grim
don't
Reaper
watch
does
Raw,
say.
so I don't know.
Grim Reaper says, well, Tony Khan is editing the show now, so which is true. He said that about the Max Caster rapping. He said, well, I'm going to be personally editing the show myself now. And you're like, you're not. First off, you're not, or you're an idiot. Like, because the other thing is this. I don't think for 1 second Tony would have caught that to begin with, because I don't think Tony Khan knew what they were talking about. So I think what he really means is after they rap, he's going to be like, so what did it all mean? You know what I mean? It wasn't a problem of them not getting the cut right. It was a matter of nobody understanding what they were talking about in the editing room. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Tony's not going to bring that level of awareness. Not by a long shot. And Grimmer says, and every show moving forward. So, yeah. Which is what he's saying about the idea of it being like for kids. Yeah. And also, if he's all Adderalled up or whatever, then of course he's going to have a lot of disjointed things. And then before we go to this, the next comment by producer, there's one more we got to get caught up on Twitch because we're just littered with it. Jeremy says, speaking of celebrity matches, maybe the wrestling world will finally get to see Paul White versus Shaq at All Out or something. I think we're going to see Paul White versus like Jericho or maybe something equally goofy. What's going on in the chat
Shaq
over there,
was
producer?
Pretty damn good. That table bump. Yeah.
Yeah.
Front row was saying Thunder
he felt
Rosa also trains a lot of the women at her Dog Pound Dojo with Jazz. Let's see that.
Yeah, let's see that. But also, do you think Serena Deeb was not involved in the training? My only criticism about the idea of everyone saying, well, now that Thunder Rosa's there, the women are finally going to get trained right, is that undermines the idea that Serena Deeb wasn't. Serena Deeb has 4 times the years of experience as Thunder Rosa and probably 5 times the amount of time actually training than Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa's fucking fantastic. She's incredible. She's doing amazing work in the dojo, in Mission Pro. But let's not forget that Serena Deeb was the main trainer for all the women going through the Performance Center for years. Yeah. If they aren't picking it up from Serena, I don't know what Thunder Rosa is going to bring to that crew to make them click. You know what I mean? What were you going to say, Amanda?
Didn't Serena also, Sarah Del Rey was one of her trainers when she was kind of coming up as well, if I'm not mistaken?
I think so. It's hard for me to remember that detail. It sounds familiar, I'll say.
Yeah, I think so. So, already right there, it's like you have these really fantastic women's wrestlers that, that you're basically, no one really knows. It's like you need to I think people need to, especially the AEW fan base, instead of running their mouths, I think sometimes they need to look and educate themselves a little bit. I don't know. Call me that indie snob. I don't know. I don't care. But
what are you talking about? They already know it all.
No, they don't. Oh no. No. It had me sit next to one of them and then they feel like, oh man, yeah, don't speak. Don't speak.
I'll tell you, sitting next to you definitely makes people want to stop talking to me sometimes, Amanda. Yeah. Bishop is in the chat real quick. He does say Tony shitting on a Performance Center is tone deaf. They have more than just practice rings there. That's the other thing too. Is it also to me told me he has no idea what happens at the Performance Center. He's just all like, oh, we don't have a Performance Center. We have a YouTube channel. And you're like, what do you think happens at the Performance Center, dude? It's a lot different than that. But anything else happen in the chat before we really dig into the AEW Dynamite? Anything you guys want to say before we get into it, Klump or Amanda? Let's hit it. Amanda, this one's on you. You saw all of AEW. I saw a lot of it with the sound off. Klump, did you see any of AEW at all?
I didn't. I tried, but I wasn't able to.
Totally fine. Did you see any little clip? Did you even scroll through the AEW Twitter to see GIFs and clips or anything like that, or no?
I didn't even get to do that. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you've been doing stuff. You've been busy. It's not a big deal. You saw NXT, and that's where it counts. So
but
Amanda,
y'all get to see my live reactions to how this goes.
You should
live reaction. Klump responding to what happened on AEW days ago.
Yeah, look at some of the Juvie and Jericho. They are the ones that opened the show.
Wait, he fought a juvenile? That's fucked up.
No, not a juvenile.
No, it was actually a geriatric. It's Juvie as in geriatric. It was Chris Jericho against Juventud Guerrera. First time they've been in a match in 30 years. First time Juvie's been in a match in 25.
No.
I don't know if he's wrestled between then and now, but he hasn't been on TV, that's for sure. If he's doing it, it's under the guise of something else. what did you think of this? Opening up the show, Jericho versus Juventud, where the labor was that Chris Jericho had to try and get on the top rope and back down again.
I honestly, like, after that Nick Gage match, nothing. Yeah, that was just kind of weak sauce. But what I did, well, I don't know if there really was anything I liked, but Aubrey really annoys me. That's one thing I got out of it. Yeah. And then even the finish was just kind of bad.
It was, yeah. I mean, when I was watching it, we were watching it live yesterday. So if you check out our Wednesday episode of Wrestling on the Rocks, I turn it on live while we're talking about other things, and there are points in there where I go, oh my God, they nearly died. There's been so many times they tried to do stuff that was clever, and they just couldn't physically do it because of probably Jericho. Jericho tries to catch Hoovy. Hoovy's like trying to do like a Frankensteiner, and he tries to turn it into like a Walls of Jericho off the second rope. And he like nearly snapped Hoovy in half because he fell. He jumped down and then also fell backwards and then tried to get himself back up. And you're like, oh my God. And Hoovy's just sitting there and it's all like, please just let me fall. But it was, I don't know, it was tough to watch from just even with the sound off, just in that regard. Jeremy does say, I hate how stupid AEW makes their referees look. I don't even know why they have referees. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't. They really should just have the crowd count.
But she's
apart
the
from
worst.
the
She's
match,
the worst of them. If I were to rank them, I would say she's the worst.
Oh, horse teeth lady? Yeah.
well, don't do that.
You only have one woman who's a ref there. I'd probably say she's the worst, followed by, you know, I hate to say this, but Rick Knox on AEW. I love
terrible.
Knox. Don't get me wrong. I love him from, you know, the Southern California promotions and PWGs that I've seen him. But on AEW, no.
He works better in those environments because of the looseness of it. Because I think it's because his role is so much more present in those to keep things together. Here, I don't know if it's the timing from the network hitting him or that they're trying to utilize him more as an element of attaching themselves to that indie style.
Yeah.
But it seems so overdone. I mean, he seems like a parody of himself.
Yeah, almost.
No, they're bad.
Bryce Remsburg would probably be my number 2 because actually I really like Bryce Remsburg. Some people do not,
Yeah,
you
I like
know,
him one bit.
but I will say that Bryce really got my love when I saw him ref at the first GCW in LA. And no, excuse me. Yeah, no, it was the second GCW in LA. Sorry. Where he wrestled the Invisible Man. He was wrestling with them, or had to call the Invisible Man wrestling Invisible Stan. Yeah, it was really great. And I know people were probably like, what the fuck? But yeah, no, I mean, it was great. And I was sober. So, you know, yeah, I have to be sober at Deathmatch because I don't like the light foods. But anyway.
All right, so Jericho and Juventud, was there anything redeeming about it?
Well, no. I don't think
so. After the match, too, Wardlow comes out. He attacks Jericho. He beats the shit out of Hoovy. Which also, by the way, the last time Juventud Guerrero was on TV was longer than the average fan base age of AEW. So most people have no idea who the fuck he is. They just think it's funny because of the Rock promo. They remember when because they've all seen the clip of Y2J debuting and the Rock saying, "Are you Juventud?" And they all go, "Oh yeah, he's a legend." No, fuck off. Like, I remember watching those matches and thinking they were fantastic, but at the end of the day, like, when you think greatest luchadors in WCW Cruiserweight division, I'm sorry, there's like 6 names that pop up in my head before Hoovy does. There just are.
Yeah.
And that's not to discount him. He's good, but he hasn't been on TV. He's a meme at best at this point for the AEW fan base, and so I didn't know why they did this, other than I think Chris Jericho trying to get his friend a big old payday. Wouldn't be surprised. But let's see. MJF comes out, and after Wardlow beats the shit out of him, he announces the next match is going to be against Wardlow with MJF as the guest referee. I don't know. I'm not concerned about this one. Wardlow lose his match against Jake Hager last time he was in a match?
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean, he's gonna lose
cool.
this one too.
Yeah.
yeah, obviously.
Yeah, that's weird.
Does he need to lose it? No.
I don't
Should
know.
he lose it? Probably
Yeah.
not.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
I
so
mean-
far, Jericho's his labors of love, we'll call them. He had Shawn Spears, a notable jobber for many years. He had Nick Gage, deathmatch
Notable
indie
felon
star,
for many years.
notable felon and ex-drug addict.
Okay.
Yeah.
Day.
He was. He's talked about on Dark Side of the Ring. He was a drug addict, which is not. I mean, I'm not saying that as all like he's illegitimate. He's legitimate as fuck because of that kind of. He comes off as crazy as hell.
Because, yeah, he's actually like you want
He's
to
done
you
shit.
ever want to talk about real
Yeah.
like
So you see
people
that
who
name
are,
come
like,
up and you
real.
go, oh shit. And then it's
Yeah.
followed up by, well, now let's get Hoovy, a 60-year-old luchador who hasn't done it in a long time. And now we're going to go with Wardlow, notable jobber of Pinnacle. Like, it's just a little bit weird. Like, I don't understand how it's all meant to connect this way other than because someone else was telling me that it had to do with the iterations of Jericho, right? So Shawn Spears versus Jericho was this version of babyface Jericho. Then Nick Gage was the Painmaker Jericho. And then Juventud was the Lionheart Jericho. And so we're going to be going down the line. Well, if we're going back to Wardlow, what is that, Demo God? You're going to go right, like, you're like, I don't fucking get it. Like, how is this different than the Shawn Spears one? You know what I mean? So that kind of breaks that up.
So who do
Exactly.
you think is 5? The 5th?
Lance Storm.
Lance Storm?
It should be Lance Storm. Get that guy a fucking payday. Jericho's just
Yeah.
trying to get his friend some money.
Well, I know, but I mean, there's like fantasy booking it. I would love it if it was Minoru Suzuki. If I were to fantasy
Okay.
book it, but
That would have been great for Painmaker.
that would have
That'd
been
been good
great
for
for
Painmaker.
Painmaker. But I have a feeling, I don't know why, but my gut's telling me fucking that's the return of CM Punk.
Maybe. I know that
It's a
Bishop's
big
in the
enough-
chat. He says it's MJF. They announced it on AEW. I don't think he's the 5th. I thought he was the 6th. I thought
He's the
that
referee. He's the referee.
he's the referee for this next one, but I thought they were going to do 5 matches, and if he got through the 5 labors, then
And
he
him
would
and-
then get MJF. So I thought that
match.
MJF was the 6th.
He's
If
the
he's
6th.
not, then let's see. Jeremy
They
does
don't
say
know
Rick
math.
Knox is the ref for pretty much every elite match because they know they can take advantage of their history with him and get away with anything. In my opinion, I think it's even more shallow than that. I think they literally tell Rick Knox just stay the fuck out of it. Count when we
Yep.
tell you to. I don't think it's like this. Oh, we can get
100%.
away with this or that. I think they've like demoralized him as a ref to the point of like, hey Rick, we love you because you literally do nothing and that's what we need. And he goes, I can do less, and they go, yeah, do less even. I think it's
Well,
I think
they've
it's
worked with
really on that.
They've worked with
Um,
Rick for at least like 10 years plus. So.
Yeah, they've buried him into absolutely worthlessness as a official. Bishop did ask who refed the Mox match. He was horrible. Bishop does say Nick Gage had a great interview on X-Pac show. That's right. Pro Wrestling for Life has an episode right now with Matt Cardona and Nick Gage in there, and both those interviews were fucking fantastic. And they just announced the next week is going to have Malachi Black, so tune in for that. Bishop then said, says nope. They said it a few times during the match that the 5th one is going to be MJF. Well, that makes it worse. So then we got Spears.
Who said that?
We got Gage. Probably anybody on commentary. And then we
Yeah.
get
But
Hoovy and then Wardlow and then MJF. That's terrible. I'm not.
why are
into
you
that.
going to spoil that? You know,
Mhm.
I don't know.
dumb. But whatever.
Bishop Dunne said, then Jeremy says, I thought MJF was only going to be in Wardlow's corner as the guest referee, is what they said.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of it, like, honestly, it sounds like we're not going to know. We're not going to find out till it happens, and it could be something totally different anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true. They've
knows?
changed a few things here and there.
Who
But
knows?
let's see. We had Lucha Brothers backstage. Idolo and Chavo. This was all stuff I had to sound off, so I don't know about any of this stuff. Anything else that was happening in AEW there, Amanda?
Well, I don't know this like working for like people thing. I'm like, what? They're not working for Pac. What the? I don't know where that narrative came in. If someone can clue me in, I'd love to know because I don't know. Then whatever goes over my head. But Yeah, there was nothing of value. I do think that Andrade needs to either whoever's dressing him in his suits, because obviously the man sweats a lot, they need to either spray him down with antiperspirant and
Powder.
the little trick that I've heard that they do in the movies and in Hollywood, put panty liners in there so it absorbs the sweat. Because he had taken off his jacket and his back just looked at one point in his back looked. But anyways, I've seen it twice now, and I'm
Andrade
like,
wears panties.
no, I'm saying he sweats so much he needs to have like panty liners and stuff to help absorb the sweat. That's what they do in Hollywood.
That makes sense. Andrade, Chave,
knowing. Yeah, the more you know. Think of it as one of those little segments.
What a progressive figure in wrestling. That's awesome.
That's pretty good. There was Adam Page stuff. There was the Darby Allin, Kingston, John Moxley match.
Adam Page.
Go ahead.
And Dark Order. I think it's interesting, that whole thing of Dark Order like the Elite, basically, Hangman wanted space from them. He got some space or not or whatnot. And then he kind of did the same thing with Dark Order. And then obviously Dark Order cares about him because when he's getting beat, they all came out. And at this point right now, the way I think, because a lot of people think, and I've seen this a lot lately in Twitter, that, they have these great like storylines. It's all this storytelling. Well, if you're telling a story, then I think we know what the next chapter is, and there's no denying it, and everyone's going to have to live with it if it's true. But I think the only thing right now that with Hangman and the Elite that'll kind of like right or wrong or whatever is going to be a friend of his whose friends are dead is going to find that actually, no, they're living. And he might join them. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, obviously I'm talking about Marty Scurll.
Adam Cole.
So, I mean, it hasn't, that whole thing with the Elite has not come full circle yet. And they always go full circle with their storylines and stuff. That has not happened yet. I'm waiting for it. I've been waiting for it. And I think that that's what's going to happen.
Because I want it to as well. Like, I'll be honest, like, I would love that to happen. I want to see Marty come back, and I think that'd be a fantastic way to go. However, I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so myself is we say that, but they haven't really done a lot to resolve Hangman himself. I think if they wanted to resolve the situation with Hangman himself regarding, like, full circle, he would have, at this point, won the title from Kenny.
No, because there were loose ends with it all. Because obviously these guys got so obnoxious that, like with Hangman, I mean, he's a shell of what he was. If you really look back all the years. Yeah. And I think that, and even with on being the Elite, he had that weird storyline with that other person that I'm not going to name that led into All In. Yeah.
But what do you think about all the rumors going around that if CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are coming through, that they're actually going to scrap all this stuff with Adam Page? Because that's been part of the rumor that's why Adam Page got lost clean the other week.
Yeah, probably.
So wouldn't that put a damper on your thing there?
Would not be surprised. Again, if you're going to bring back CM Punk, I said it before on episode 1, I need him versus Cabana. In like no rules type of match. Weapons, fans can bring the weapons. That'd be great because I would love to be there and bring the weapon. Oh my god, that's fun. But that's a lot of unsettled stuff.
Yeah.
And if Tony, everyone, they're known for having a friendly locker room. That shit's gonna stop with that. And I hope that it doesn't. But unless like Tony's like, hey, cool, look, I'll just give you the money. But I don't think he would. Because that was way before Tony's time.
Bishop does say that you make a great wrestling journalist, though. Amanda says you bring up Marty every week, and then when he does finally show up, you can just say, called it. So, that's a good point.
Well,
That's what we do here at journalism.
I mean, like, why is he working out so hard? I mean, he's like in better condition than he was in the last maybe 4 years. Like when you started doing the villain character. I'm like, whoa, you're almost like Party Marty yoked.
Yeah. Grim Reaper does say, until Punk or Danielson show up on our TVs, nothing is confirmed. 100% nothing is confirmed at all.
No.
But I think people are trying to, if nothing else, figure out why Hangman Page is start-stop all the goddamn time. Just like Jeremy said, every time Hangman Page seems to have a direction, AEW just rips it away from him. Mm-hmm. Like, I really thought with the beginning of it, and it getting to Page and Jericho for the title, I was like, they're going to give it to Page and make a statement. And then they gave it to Jericho and made an entirely different statement.
The other thing that's frustrating about it, and it makes it think of something you've called with an NXT feud with Ciampa and Gargano. The longer you put this shit on and we don't have a resolution, the less reward you get in the end. I mean, at this point, we're getting close to I don't give a shit when Page gets it, if he gets it, because it's just going on and on and on, and arguably should have happened a long time ago. And that's kind of sad because the dude's only 30. The dude's fantastic. The dude's got so much going for him. You know, he really is an all-around fantastic performer, the likes of which they don't have a lot of there.
Nope.
And
they don't utilize them.
No, they don't. Like, they think they do, but honestly, a lot of the people that they put a lot of their effort and time into are past their prime, don't translate in this country or culture, or, you know, are based purely off of excitement from controversy somewhere else. And that's fucked. Because, you know, like, yeah, I agree. Paige should have got that title at right away. That would have said something. That would have been overcoming Jericho and like, whoa, holy shit.
Yeah, this guy's like legit. Like, if he had not signed and gone with them, if he still kept with Ring of Honor, he would have been Ring of Honor champion, the world champion, and he would have been it for quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of sad, but, you know, he can't go back and whatever. But, you know, I mean, it's just kind of a waste with him. And I just
point, AEW cannot turn back time. What's Front Row saying?
Hangman was one of the most over people at the show here. They'd be leaving money on the table if they cool him off.
Yeah, that's my point. Is I think that Hangman Page is over as fuck, but it's again, I think the fandom, despite the booking, right? He's almost Daniel Bryan-esque for AEW. He's constantly being booked as in these shitty ways and these horrible stories and these like less than credible instances, and the fans are just like, no, that's our guy. Like, you don't understand, that's our guy.
Yeah.
And so he's over as fuck. They keep trying to cool him off for whatever reason, I don't know. But I agree, they should have pulled the trigger on him literally as the first champion. He should have done it because it would have been huge. And at this point, like, how do you get back there? But I feel like every time he gets anywhere near anything, they just shut it down and push him aside and say, well, he's an unreliable drunk, so there's that. And
that's... Sorry, go ahead.
We're still on it because Bishop says Hangman seems characterless to him. He goes, he needs a savior to help him right his course. He's aimless, and AEW fans call that long-term booking. If Page won the first title, I may have not stopped watching in the first place. And Grim Reaper says Hangman needs to be the champ, but at this point, we're looking at 2022, probably at Double or Nothing. I know, and at that point, I don't know. Klump?
I was going to say a couple things. One, to Amanda's point, if he didn't sign with AEW, fuck being Ring of Honor champion, he'd probably be NXT champion and possibly on the main roster.
Yeah.
He would be, he's been on their radar. He's that good. Yeah, he's kind of small for WWE, but not the WWE of now. And he could take that, imagine him with a space to take that time, work out, and just do things. He'd be fucking killer. And yeah, I mean, honestly, so I keep going back to the Hangman Page drunk storyline, and it makes me appreciate the Jeff Hardy storyline, but it also makes me madder at that Hangman Page like drunk storyline, because it was for nothing. It had no result, no build, no surpassing or coming over. And if they're saying that him in this role now of coming into his own and being a leader in the Dark Order is it, no, that's just shit booking. That's just, oh, we forgot and went past it. If fans of AEW and AEW people backstage can argue that lazy, shitty booking is what makes WWE what it is, and they just kind of go back to and say, oh yeah, we left the store open, say the same thing here. And that's how I feel.
Yeah.
It's just, he's their
You know what?
too good worker.
Because you also had a huge problem with the Jeff Hardy storyline because you thought it delved too much into real life and that was unnecessary, which makes this storyline that not only was unnecessary without a payoff, but based completely fake. He doesn't drink at all. He's a sober dude. So he was like out there sipping orange juice and he's out there pretending to be drunk from a guy who's never been drunk. It was just assigning this to him, which is so WWE. And to be honest, if you thought the Jeff Hardy one was tasteless, I don't know how you think that the Hangman one's tasteless.
No.
At least with Jeff Hardy, it was his idea and something he wanted to go through and do a redemption story online, hoping to inspire. Whether that played out that way or not is a whole other conversation. But this is just like, did Hangman Page really go to Tony and say, hey, I think I should portray a drunk for a while? Like, no,
I don't think
that was, you know what I mean?
I think that was other people, and honestly, it does say a lot of this company if they view like the worst thing somebody can be is becoming an alcoholic. Because honestly, also, in my view, toward the end of that, when he got shut down and shit on by the Bucks, that just landed like, cool, we fuck you for everything. We're not helping you out. You know what I mean? It just, every part of it I look back on, it's like, yeah, so why did you do this? What was the end goal of this all? And I can't think of one.
Yeah, and then I will say the one part of this whole segment though that was the weirdest to me was that the entire Dark Order comes out and one dude, I think it was like Stu Grayson or some shit, maybe not because I think he's in Dark Order, but one dude from the Elite crew who was small just pushed them all back into the tunnel. Like it was 12-on-1, and he was just like, all right, move it on back. And they're like, oh, we can't do anything about this. We're overpowered. We're outnumbered. And you're like, what the fuck? What? It was just really weird.
No, 100%.
Everyone stayed in the ring except for one dude, and apparently he's the toughest motherfucker in the whole world because 12 guys were like, we could never take him.
Yeah. I think it wasn't it Carl Anderson who shoved them all back? I don't know.
Not even the big fucker?
Not even the big one.
LG? No.
It was a small guy. I remember thinking that because he was like nose to nose with what's the little bulldog guy? Silver? He was like nose to nose with Silver.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep it moving. Was there anything about the Moxley match or the Christian Cage match or anything that you guys want to talk about? Or you want to run it through to the main event? Lee Johnson and Miro?
No, I think that
Bunny and Layla Hirsch.
Well, actually, Layla Hirsch. Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit. Yeah, the Mox, Eddie. I just hate that AEW's made Eddie into a fucking puss. Every time I see Eddie now, I'm just like, you're such a puss now. And
I'd argue they've made Mox into a parody of himself too.
Yeah, that too. But it's like he had so much going. Eddie had so much going for him when he came in there, and it's like, so.
Bishop does say it was Stu Grayson. In fact, I thought it was him, but I was like, "There's no way it wouldn't make sense." But he goes because Hangman Page said he didn't want them, so Stu gave Hangman what he wanted, which also, I don't know if that's as compelling as they think it is.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what Hangman proved by getting his ass kicked and not fighting back. Like,
no.
Oh, he's a real tough guy.
That's why the short little guy with the brawly needs to come back.
Yeah. We keep going. Yeah, I was really disappointed with what's become of Eddie. I think Moxley walks like a kid who thinks he's walking like a cool guy, which is funny.
Yes.
Yeah, and now with his Wild Thing entrance, which I am glad that they used the version by X that they used in Major League. I think that's pretty.
What do you think about Moxley having the same haircut as Baron Corbin?
That was kind of weird. I noticed that.
Hey,
I think he thinks what? What's up, Klump?
Male pattern baldness hits all of us.
Yeah, well, one dude's doing it as a joke. The other one's doing it because he thinks it looks tough. It's just weird. When I saw Kingston and Moxley walk out there, who were they teamed with?
Doesn't matter.
They were versus Everrise.
Daniel Garcia
Yeah, Daniel Garcia and Everrise.
and Everrise were against Darby Allin, Eddie Kingston, and John Moxley. This looked like a
that's
My
right.
Dad's Tougher Than Your Dad match.
Yes.
Yeah. And okay, let me say this. I think we were spoiled in the early days of Daily's Place. I missed the snow. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
I kind of missed the snow.
Oh, it would have been better with snow for sure. But this
Better,
was 100% My Dad's Tougher Than Your Dad. I think Sting is doing the Lord's work by doing absolutely nothing and getting a ton of money.
Yeah. Bless him.
Yeah, bless him.
Hey, good negotiator.
Yeah.
Bless him.
He's like, I hear
You
you
can't
guys.
knock
I'm going to
Sting.
do less than that.
Yeah. I'm just gonna sit here until the check clears.
I mean, he could say, I had that one, quasi strenuous match where,
Sort of.
in Starks.
Yeah. Anything else on there besides the main event? Bunny, Layla?
Layla Hirsch, I thought, I really like Layla Hirsch. I think she's very underrated. And it's going to be interesting to see her and Camille wrestle each other. The Bunny actually, as much as I hate her and she annoys me, her persona and her annoyance actually kind of worked in this match for me.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I think it'll be very interesting to see because, Layla Hirsch, she's a big athlete. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't Camille like more kind of that technical kind of wrestler?
No.
Or
Camille's still
Well,
that
actually,
like 2 years into wrestling kind of wrestler, so she like does a couple big power moves.
And technically, we really didn't see much of her because, she really wasn't wrestling then. And we only maybe saw her, the one time?
Yeah.
March?
Well, she wrestled like 3 times that weekend.
Did
They
she?
didn't air all of it. Yeah, but it didn't air all of it. But it was like a lot of like power moves and stuff. She's just still really new to it all. I didn't see her match against Thunder Rosa. I imagine it was very good. I don't know how much technical wrestling Thunder could have gotten out of Camille though, because she's still so new.
Yeah, because I think
But she's a power wrestler and it works for her. She's very impressive.
And that'll be very interesting with Layla Hirsch. So I'm excited to see what happens with that. Don't know if other people feel that way, but I do. And not because of the height difference or anything, because basically Layla was at her boobs.
Yeah, that was kind of.
But whatever. That's neither here nor there. But I think that it'll be very, very interesting. And it actually is kind of nice that they're actually using some of those women that they don't use a lot and giving them opportunities like this. I think I'm all for that. We need more of that. To be honest, if you want your women's division to grow, that's how you got to do it.
Yeah, and Front Rows in the chat, he says the Camille and legit Layla face-off was money. Best build of the night was for an NWA match. I'll be honest, every time they build something towards something NWA, it's more exciting than most of the stuff they got going on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Everything with Serena when she had the belt.
Oh
yeah.
So good.
I mean,
Thunder Rosa
100%.
coming in as the NWA champ was incredible.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
The NWA, if nothing else, knows how to run a women's division really well.
They do.
At least optically. Because they've made a lot of who they've had there.
Oh, we didn't mention this, but so they had this weird, and it obviously was edited, not to my liking, but whatever, personal opinion. But Team Taz had a thing. Oh yeah, by the way, sending love out to Will Hobbs. His mom passed away, so that's why he wasn't there this week. The week before his flights were canceled. So, but yeah, he's been around the hood. So, thinking about you, Will. But yeah, because Ricky got another promo. And it was actually kind of good, but you kind of chopped it up and let Brian Cage, who really doesn't cut a very good promo, speak. So That'll be interesting when that match happens, because Ricky's taking his job way too much, and he needs one other cage.
And Jeremy's in the chat too. He says, "I wish Sting wasn't out there for every single Darby match. It ruins the excitement of seeing him. He's like a lost puppy wondering where he is." I think it's. I think it's just making him more of a novelty. He's coming out like a mascot now. He's our legend we have here, who never did anything here legendary. He just comes out, waves to the people, stands around for a bit, and people say, "It was so cool seeing Sting, right?" Yeah, I'd never seen him before. He's just.
You know what would be awesome is Darby and Sting came in riding skateboards. That would be cool. But
I'm into that.
I don't know, or
break his ankles, but
or give Sting one of those, those razor scooters, because there is something to hold on to. That would be kind of cool.
That'd be good. Those razor scooters. Bishop does say it was battling vignettes, just like that Fire FTR Santana Ortiz vignette, the Ricky Cage one. I think he's being sarcastic, because that one between FTR and Santana and Ortiz was sloppy and weird.
Yeah, that was not.
Man, it had a bunch of weird cuts. Santana pulls out the photos of his mom and he goes, "This is my mom and this is our apartment." And then he's just suddenly sitting down again and they go, "We're going to fuck you up." And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
What does your mom have to do with any of this?
Yeah.
So
here's a picture of my mom. Okay.
Man, jeez.
That is Tony's editing. He edits all the shows now.
Yeah, well, that was awful.
Front row's got a hot take here for you, Amanda. You're gonna love this one. He goes, Ricky doesn't fit the FTW title. He said they should have put it on Eddie from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I agree.
Yep.
Except for Eddie's not tough anymore.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I think what it's been is, again, it's a case of we don't know what to do with this guy. Okay, so now you've kind of handicapped him in a way. But the good that's come out of it, and I really think that Hobbs should have gotten the belt. But maybe that's what we might see in the future. I don't know, because I think I did say on episode 1 that Ricky's probably going to get really obnoxious with that belt, and it's just going to piss the 3 of them off, the other 3, and Hobbs is just like, no, gonna crush that, not gonna take it. So I mean, I would love to see that, only because, again, but no, they just don't know what to do with him. In front, you're totally right. They just don't know. That's the shitty part about it. So, but Eddie could have gone that route. But
if they had done it early. I think at this point it's too far. Well, I mean, maybe they could do it to actually bring something back to Eddie, because they've crushed his character so hard. Maybe it would be a way to bring back legitimacy to his cartoonish character they've created.
Maybe, because I can see Taz what the fuck what the hell are you doing, man? I can see that, having a heart to heart, like what he tried to do when he was originally trying to recruit people.
Also, if anybody we know can bring legitimacy, it's Eddie. Problem is everything he's being surrounded by keeps muddling him down. If they just let him take that FTW title and run on his own, he could bring legitimacy to that FTW title we haven't seen since Taz first debuted back in the 90s.
Absolutely. Because I don't think Ricky brings that to it.
No, he brings a fantasticalness.
No, he just brings other stuff, but it's like, you need to let him shine. Just let him shine on his own.
Mm-hmm. Bishop does say it got him hype. He goes, I didn't get the photos, but he was hyped by that package. So, all right. Well. I kept getting lost in it. I felt like the cuts were real hard and weird in mid-sentence, and they didn't finish. So for me, I was like, what? But yeah, I gotcha. Did you want to say anything about the Miro thing? Micah said earlier that he really liked that. Did you appreciate the Miro thing? He beat the shit out of that guy, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, well, with Miro, I'm really glad they're trying to make us forget about the whole best man thing. I'm really glad, because I just was like, damn, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking horrible storyline for you to walk into. But I'm really glad that they're taking him away from it.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
But
what do you think about the title? At this point, they made the title look like a Bulgarian flag sort of thing with the white strap and the green line. What do you? And then when Darby won it. They gave it a black strap. Do you think they're going to just customize this title for everyone who wins it as they go?
Well, we need to give it to Ricky because it'll have pearls and chains on it.
Ooh, that's a great point.
And if
That's a
I
great
don't,
point. Now I'm on board.
not asked, if I'm not like asked to help him like bling it, I'm gonna be mad.
Mm-hmm. Put it out there. Get it out in the world.
Yeah, because he wore a neck brace on Dark, and I got mad at him. I'm like, I don't like you right now. I told you I would bring you one because I think that's so gaudy. With chains, and he's like, no, it's okay. Then he wore one, and I'm like, it's just plain.
Yeah. You're not Andy Kaufman. Yeah. Let's see. Jeremy Stevens, let's say Jungle Boy's version would be made of leaves and vines. That's Daniel Bryan's. He can't take the Daniel Bryan gimmick. But
yeah, well,
still be good.
No, Jungle Boys actually, I think, well, I don't know.
Dude, imagine if they made a leather strap look green and stuff like dinosaur scales, and Luchasaurus is like, what the fuck is that?
No, goddamn. Can we, like, that's one thing on this earth that I wish that needs to go away. I do not
Luchasaurus?
Don't like Luchasaurus. Don't get it. I don't know why people think it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. I think. Yep. Never been.
Well, do you want to talk about the main event? Or go ahead, Klump, and then we'll go main event.
I was gonna throw like just to knock it out. The reason Luchasaurus is over like so many things here is it's a bit it's Saturday Night Live works and has iconic bits, but you don't make an entire series out of them. They don't tend to have staying power. You try, but how much do you watch the Coneheads and don't say, oh yeah, it was a guilty pleasure? Wayne's World's awesome, and it had a sequel, but it's maybe the best, and you'll get some things out of it. That's a good example, but there's
a lot of Saturday Night Live movies that were failures, like It's Pat and Stuart Saves His Family.
Fuck, It's Pat.
We didn't get damn Brian Fellows. That would have been great, but anyway.
I forgot about It's Pat. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, It's Pat. And then whatchamacallit, Mary whatever, Superstar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Superstar.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Mary Catherine Gallagher, for sure.
Yeah. But like that's what like Luchasaurus is like Will Ferrell as Alex Trebek. Yeah, it's funny, but do I need to see it for 45 minutes every week?
The irony of Luchasaurus is that he was teamed with Jungle Boy, which was also a Tony Khan thing. All these people saying everything was their own idea, but they go back and go, oh yeah, Tony Khan, I had the idea and I just ran with it. So
I'm reading through Tony Khan's Wikipedia page, and if you go to the bottom, it has like acknowledges and reception. And outside of like, it's like 3 paragraphs. The first one's like Chris Jericho and them. He's pretty decent. He's a hard worker. Then it goes to like, the people from Fulham that are like, he's a spoiled piece of shit who doesn't understand sport. And then it goes to the Jaguars and there's people who are like, he's a spoiled brat. And I'm like,
So good. So good. The wrestling community's all like, he's one of us. And all the other sports are like, he's fucking awful.
And you know what's bad is that you can tell that there's certain people who really take advantage of his, either call it stupidity or call it
naivety.
Or you can also call it
fandom.
To be popular and
I've said from the very beginning of not only their show but my own, since episode 1, I've said this is Tony Khan's greatest meet and greet. That's why Tony Khan's kind of a hero of mine. If I had endless money, I might try to design the best meet and greet of all time as myself. It's just his live action video game. Do you want to talk about the main event? We got Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black. It was over in a few minutes. Malachi Black kicking the absolute shit out of Cody Rhodes.
I loved
so
it.
much so.
I loved it.
He kicked the head off of Cody so hard that Cody wakes up and goes, I guess I'm done forever.
Yeah.
Cuts a 50-minute promo.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I honestly think that Cody Rhodes was knocked out for a minute. I really honestly think that he was. Which, you know, I mean, I've seen other people be knocked out like that, but I think there was a moment where his bell was rung hard and he was out of it.
Yeah. Bishop's in the chat says the IWC says TK is one of us. Sports world goes, that nerd only knows about wrestling. I don't even think they say that nerd knows about wrestling. They say, let that nerd go play with his wrestling. Like, they don't know or care if he knows anything.
He's not one of us. If he let me book a show, okay, using his roster, probably be a lot freaking better than what he's producing every week.
Let's make it happen.
You'd have like
go ahead, Klump. Klump, go ahead.
I think he is one of us because I think all of us would do that. Like, yeah, I could do this better than him, and we may or may not. But I think it all speaks to he's one of us in that. Yeah. He's a bit obsessed and like he can't. He can. I don't think he can separate himself from it.
Yeah.
You know,
no, I agree.
Like he can't rise above and be like rise above his fandom from being a kid and like do something more. Like if he had, I'd put RVD there. If RVD signed with AEW, yeah, every belt, FTW titles, every belt would go to him. Just he wants old ECW, and that's cool and all, but I mean, everyone, it's just
It is, and I agree with you entirely. He's one of us, in that we would all be doing the same thing in his shoes, just a different way. Because we're all obsessive and in love with this thing and just want it to be the coolest and want our favorites to be doing this and want our favorites to have what they want. And, I can pay this person more money than they're getting from the other guy. I'll give him more money because I'd like to give that guy more money because he's my favorite. The same way that when a wrestler gets released from WWE, they put out a T-shirt and say, hey, guys, buy my T-shirt to support me now that I'm out of work. Negating the fact that they've already made millions and they're fine. We as fans go, we better support them and buy that T-shirt. We better help them in any way we can and buy that T-shirt, which they get all of $7 off of. You know what I mean? Like, it costs us more than they make, for sure. But we still have that inherent desire to give them anything we can out of appreciation. And that's what Tony Khan is doing. He's giving these people anything he can out of appreciation. And that's, I think, respectable. I think noble. At the end of the day, I just don't understand contracts. Bishop does have a question for you here, Amanda. He said, no love for the Christian Cage match. What'd you think of it? I remember seeing it in passing and not thinking a lot of it. I remember thinking it was really weird personally that Cage came out and attacked the guy on the ramp, and I thought Cage was the babyface in the match.
Yeah, that was weird.
But outside of that, I didn't think much of it. I wasn't paying close attention to it, but it didn't grab my attention either. I may have just been distracted. I'm not going to say it's the match's fault necessarily at all. You tell me, Amanda, what'd you think of Christian Cage match?
Well, I will say this. I know they're building him up for something. What, I don't know. But it's not, I don't think it will end well for him. Because I don't see him and Omega wrestling each other. I don't.
Yeah.
So that belt's got to move, maybe. But, I mean, he's not going to be the one that takes it from Omega. No. I don't really know who. The only person I really think would be Hangman. But at this point, no. So, yeah. And we don't need another. And I don't want to see this thing where all these Canadians, him and Kenny and Don Callis and whoever else is Canadian on that roster. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. But, we don't need to see all the Canadians battle it out.
You know what I'd love for Omega?
It's a decent match.
If I'm fantasy booking with no information given to me whatsoever because of wrestling journalism being the way that it is, what I would love is if CM Punk came in as a total heel, actually flipping Kenny into a babyface by defeating Kenny for the title, gets the title, looks at it, laughs, and throws it on the ground and walks away. When he shows up on the next show, he's got that Walmart toy version, and he goes, sorry, I couldn't tell the difference. The amount of heat that guy would get.
And then I'd love to see him versus Colt, and then I would book it, him and Colt Cabana.
Yeah, and they're fighting over the toy title. Like, he keeps bringing out the toy title, and the real one's, like, in a whole other storyline where someone's got it, but they're not the actual champion. Like, the amount of heat he would get by diminishing AEW as the place to be And if he just kept referring to it as a joke and these kids and this goofy shit, like if he kept calling out the things that the critics say about it, the fans would hate him so bad. It would be so fucking fun to watch.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think that's like, if they don't do something like that, I see no positive to it.
Yeah.
If he comes, if CM Punk does come in, or Daniel Bryan comes in, how long before it's another disappointment?
Yeah. They got to do something crazy cool.
Yeah, because time and again, like, we hear this, and I wish I had the fucking optimism to be like, oh my god, yes, it's gonna be amazing. Time and again, I've been disappointed over and fucking over. Like, the idea of CM Punk coming in, if he isn't like an asshole heel who treats everything like shit and just says, yeah, you know what, I'd rather go make more money somewhere else, just talking about a place I hated working,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, what do you want?
It's
Because
like,
the other thing too is,
yeah.
he's a 45-year-old. Wait, how old is CM Punk?
He's probably
He's
11.
old.
Shit, 42-year-old guy who's not been
He's
wrestling.
42.
Yeah,
He
and
was older than that.
yeah,
Ooh.
he's not wrestled in 7 years.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's not like, I'm not saying that to be a dick to him, but it's not gonna probably go well, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be, there's no way for it to be what fans want it to be, you know? And this isn't knocking AEW, this is wrestling overall. When you build shit up on and on and on and get excited about it for years and years and years and do things like once in a lifetime, this or that,
Yeah.
when it isn't that, it can be a great match. It's not gonna be what the fuck you want.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens if he does show up.
I
But
thought it was
I'm just fantasy
funny.
booking that. Let's talk the main event so we can move on, though.
Yeah. Oh,
Amanda,
just a
talk about
FYI.
Malachi and Cody. What's up?
Okay, before I get that real quick on the CM Punk tip, I thought it was very funny that there were quite a few, many CM Punk shirts being worn at Daly's place. I had to laugh at that. But anyways, that Malachi Black entrance, holy shit. I don't know. Call me a sucker for a really good, like, quasi-dramatic entrance, but it just worked so well. I don't know why, it just did. And I'm like, this is the shit we need to see.
Yes.
You know, as an entrance.
Yeah, this is what sets you apart.
Yeah, and I was like excited. And then of course, you know, you have Cody the Patriot coming out. Like, I really don't understand that, but whatever. I mean, you know, America. No. But that match was very interesting in the sense that I've been very anti Cody because of how he's always pushed on us. So it was kind of nice to see him kind of get decimated.
Yeah.
Was his big long speech necessary? Not really. But it was very interesting because I had wondered how much was a work. Are you really gonna try? Are you really thinking about hanging it up and being more EVP? I doubt it.
I didn't buy it other than I thought that I didn't buy that it was happening now. I do believe there's a possibility that the match that they end up having, because they're going to have another match in my mind, no doubt, that it could be if Malachi wins, then Cody retires, in which case then Cody will get the win, I think. But I do think that they're building towards the concept of a retirement match. But I didn't think for a second this was actually the end of Cody's in-ring, personally.
No, because we usually see 2 or 3 of these before there's any kind of resolution, unless you're the inner circle or the pinnacle. Because that just seems to.
And I would say also that I agree that it went on way too long. He uses way too many words and tries so hard to be so emotional to come off as genuine that he comes off disingenuous to me. Like, okay, he's really trying hard here. You know what I mean? And he cries in every promo, and it's so forced at this point that I'm all like, okay. And maybe he really does dig down deep to try and cry every promo so it feels more real, but it just comes off to me so forced. It's sort of like if you've ever been in a relationship with someone where every time you start to have an argument, they cry, and so you just backpedal the whole thing. That's what it feels like.
Do you just make people cry every time you argue with them?
Well, I'm right most of the time, so they have to know that and live it.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I get what you mean though. Like, I feel there's so much effort being put into making every promo the best promo, which is cool and all, but I feel like in this person's case, their focus is on making every promo this amazing emotional thing after one where it hit hard, and I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen every time, and that's fine. When you do this on and on and on and on, it's just none. Like, if everything's emotional, nothing's emotional.
Exactly. That's what I mean. He's overdone it for so long that it doesn't matter anymore. But the match itself was dope. And then afterwards, Malachi Black takes a crutch and smashes the shit out of Cody. He's all, fuck you, dude. So I am excited about that. And I thought that Malachi looked dope. I thought his entrance was dope. I thought the match looked good. Like, no complaints about any of that. It was just two or three sentences into Cody's promo, and I was like, okay, how long do we have this for? And then it was like 10 minutes later where it was like, okay. I did like that Malachi just fucking shit on Cody by pinning him almost a minute after he kicks him in the head, and then he walks around and looks at the crowd. Then he walks over there and just puts his foot on his chest and still gets the 3 count. It's like, dude, fucker could have got a fucking 30 count. He'd have been fine. Like,
that was great.
I loved that.
I popped really hard for that, by the way.
Yeah. Which means it's going to be so exciting when Cody kicks out of the next Black Mass.
Maybe he won't be as passed out as he was.
Yeah. He's going to definitely kick out of the next one. He's going to kick out of like the next 2, and everyone's going to be like, oh, how could it happen? It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Do you think that any of this actually leads to Cody retiring?
No.
The only reason I think that there's a possibility of that is because I think that he does pay attention to Twitter an awful lot, and I do think that he's aware that the crowd has turned on him. I don't think that he knows exactly what to do about that.
I think maybe he is not retiring per se, but I think he's going to probably spend a little bit more time being Cody, the the family man.
I could see that. I could see that for sure.
And out of sight, out of mind, and then he'll come back and it'll be fine because Twitter will be okay with him.
That's a great point. Great point. Klump.
Well, and also, like, I think, I've said it a lot, there is a space to go and learn a new move. Take some time out. I don't know if this is a retirement. I don't know if it needs to be that dramatic, but take some time away. Help with production. Help with running things, because, we need somebody booking, and I'll give you a little bit of credit. I think, you've done some great work in setting up matches.
Yeah.
Do that. Take time with your family. See what you can do. I think right now, as you guys gear up to tour and stuff, that might be needed more than ever. And you can come back in time when we're ready for it. That'll be awesome.
100%. I agree. You guys ready to talk NXT?
Oh, yeah.
Give your final thoughts on AEW, and we'll go NXT. Amanda, final thoughts AEW?
Well, next week will be interesting.
Love it. Klump, any final thoughts AEW?
Didn't need to see it. Let's keep going.
Perfect. NXT. NXT did open up with Hero.
Mm.
Hit row.
You sounded just like that, like their song. I was like, man, you actually like bought their music, I guess.
Yeah, I licensed it.
Yeah, yeah.
It was Hit Row versus yeah. Klump's like ugh. Against La Gara del Fantasma, we had Ashante and Top Dollar against Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. Let me start with you, Klump. What did you think of this match?
Sorry, I'm drinking water,
you
but
chugging?
okay.
Okay,
no, I got you. No, I'm on it. Sorry,
You seem
it wasn't
busy.
that long
Let me
ago.
talk to you.
I want to like Hit Row. I'm appreciating them more and more, in part because I appreciate Top Dollar's aesthetic. I feel him and I have a similar taste in fashion. We also look similar. I'm a big fan of big bald dudes with beards. That's
Good
my
point.
thing.
You've always been top Klump in my book.
Can we just not peso? Let's go with something different. Yeah, but
Can you
no,
stop
I
it?
thought it was a decent match overall. I think they're doing a lot to me. The impression I guess they're doing a lot to protect Top Dollar, because I feel like he's getting gassed.
Yeah.
Which is fine. He's a big power guy, and everyone worked well in the match together.
Yeah.
I think
It
the only
looked like
thing
a
I really,
fight. A lot
Yeah,
of it
I
looked
know.
like a fight, which was nice.
I think because matches often end in NXT, and also this is the beginning of the show, it was okay for it to end in kind of a schmoz way.
Mm-hmm.
End in a fight, it worked out better than one. It wasn't every match, and
Yeah.
two, it was early in the show, so it didn't have like a lot of stakes, but it does build the story. It's not that every match has to do it, so you're
Yeah.
surprised when it ends properly.
I saw someone was talking shit about how Escobar took the grill out of Swerve's mouth and made it about the grill and stuff. I guess this is a weird. I mean, like he even put it in his pocket and stuff. But like, I guess I understand someone thinking that it's irrelevant or stupid. But have you ever known anyone who had a grill?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
me, so have I. Klump, tell me how much that means to that person.
I mean, it can mean a lot because okay, so one, I just want to say this: the longer it took for you to ask that question, the whiter you sounded, which was great. The more you like, it just like,
Well,
but
I'm putting it out like because I'm trying to set the scene a little bit because it's like someone's like, why would that matter at all? And it's like,
yeah,
well, there's a lot here.
yeah, there's a lot here. So let's start with money. Grills cost money. Like a cheap grill, gold. You're looking at $5-6 grand, easy.
Yeah.
They cost money. They are form fitted to your mouth. They're deeply personal. Usually that's an investment because it's something that's there. It's kind of dentures. They're part of you. They become part of your body in a sense, and they hurt like a bitch to pull out because you're fitting them between parts of your teeth, and you might be the only person that knows how to take it out. Like to me, I'd see it like taking out someone's retainer.
Yeah. If
you got somebody's retainer and you don't know how to do that, that would hurt like a motherfucker in my eyes. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
A lot of factors there. Also, it's personal. To me, the biggest part of it wasn't money or pain. It was, I'm not going to take a chain. I'm not going to take a watch. I'm not going to take a shirt. I'm not going to take your belt. I'm going to take something out of you.
Yes.
I'm going to take something out of your body. I'm going to have that much control over you. That's how I saw it.
Yep. So I saw it too. And like you said, it's form fitted to your mouth. It's literally a one of a kind piece of jewelry that means literally nothing to anyone else, but cost you more than most of other people's things.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it costs a lot and it becomes, it's like you ripped off someone's tattoo off their arm.
Exactly.
It's like, are you kidding? Like it's intense. It's a very intense thing. And so I thought the way you said that me trying to get to the question sounded very white. I thought it sounded incredibly white and privileged for people shitting on the idea of that as being a potential storyline.
That is.
Amanda, go ahead. Do you tell me your thoughts on the real?
A lot of white privilege there. The thing with the grills, yes, it's something deeply personal. And I'm glad, Klump, you brought up the dentures, like dentures or a partial or whatever.
Mhm.
Okay. What people are missing here is, how do you get that? You have to go in someone's mouth and really kind of be pulling on it, unless he loosened it a little. But still, that's where it's like, whoa, because you're violating somebody's body in a way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you didn't steal his wallet.
And that's where, like, I was like, oh, like when I saw him with the grill in his hand, I'm like, whoa, holy shit. I'm like, wow, you reached in there for that. Like, because I know people who have them and whatnot, I had to think about it like, fuck, you have to really dig your hand in there to pull someone else's grill out. So I was kind of like, whoa. I was more like, man, you don't do that to people. I mean, that's pretty bad. That's like if you wore contacts and, I don't, by the way, because I don't have my glasses on. I left them at work.
Gotcha.
So I'm kind of blind.
You drove blind home. Perfect.
Yeah. Well, like, I'm already home and I'm already drinking, so it's okay.
Perfect.
Maybe not. But I think that it's like someone, if they had contacts and you went up to them and you like put your finger in their eye.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't do that. So
And
that's
you took
where
the contact out. Yeah. 100%.
I'm more upset about it than whatever. So if some people think it's ghetto, as MJF likes to say, it's not. I mean, it's a fact of life.
Yeah. It's a thing, man.
To quote,
and it's a crazy thing. And I thought that by utilizing that, I thought that Hit Row had probably a say in that, saying like, you don't understand like how offensive this would be to people in my neighborhood or from his culture and stuff. Like that is fucking a crazy. Like stealing someone's shoes is one thing, but this is like fucking out
you
there.
went in his mouth.
Yeah.
You violated his mouth.
And you can't even use it, man. You can't sell it. You can't do anything to it. It's literally worthless to anybody else. I mean, what do you do? Melt it down? Like, no.
He was going to put it on eBay.
Yeah.
Probably get more money off of it.
Yeah.
For that.
Just from like a crime perspective, I'm going to steal it and sell it. You can't sell a grill online. People aren't going to want, like,
no.
It's not going to fit.
They would want it because it was his. It was Swerve's,
Well, in that regard,
and,
yeah. Ring
probably
used.
there'd be a still of him Escobar holding it, and then he'd autograph it. I mean, yeah. But other than that, no. Yeah.
So with all that in mind, Klump, with as hesitant as you've been and as much as you've had issues with Hit Row, what do you think about this particular storyline with them and Phantasma?
I like it. I liked it. I like the way it came at the end. I like the way it's building. I think it's what I like most about it, honestly, is that it's a way to make a feud very personal and multi-dimensional beyond a belt.
Yes.
Because that U.S. title could get the fuck out of here, and I'd be cool with it. And it's a good way to continue to build heat on these groups that aren't really near a title right now. Well,
Swerve has the North American title, but to your point, what can you do to Swerve to make him put his title on the line against someone he doesn't want to? Oh, that could do it. They could do it right there.
This is true.
I loved it. I thought it was intense and crazy, and I thought people who were shitting on it just don't get it. Yeah. And to be honest, there's a large part of my life I wouldn't have got it either. But, I moved to New York for a while and met a lot of people.
But I just love Legado del Fantasma.
I would have loved if you just ended that statement by, like, smiling and, like, the glint of your iced out grill shown on the stream.
Like a Mentos.
I met a lot of people.
I thought Swerve had bling in his, but anyways, I don't know. Maybe I'm mistaken.
It had some diamonds in it, or some stones in it.
Yeah.
Well, when you saw the
That's
one in Escobar's hand, I didn't look like it, but I wasn't looking at it too close. I was just kind of like, ew, he dug in his mouth to get that.
Ew!
Ew! That sounded really white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
He dug it. Yeah. And I'm not white.
Well, this was followed up by Ridge Holland against Ikemen Jiro.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Get
this
a
was
cute
a
watermelon
that he did. Amanda, what do you think about this? This was like an absolute murder. Ridge Holland just looked like an absolute tank.
I was like, whoa, okay. Is even last week, I was like, wow, what the hell? Coming in here like a freaking bulldozer, just mowing people down. It's going to be interesting what happens with, Thatcher and Ciampa. But again, I still love those guys as a tag team together. Toothless Tim and Psycho Tommaso.
The way Jiro was selling during and after the pin, where he's almost like it reminded me of Tozawa. The way Tozawa sells, and you're all like, "Oh my god, he's knocked out."
Yeah.
I thought Jiro did amazing here, and I thought that Holland looked like a Peaky Blinder in the best possible way.
Mm-hmm.
So excited he's back. He's such a badass, and Pete Dunne cuts a promo afterwards. Klump, what'd you think about the Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne stuff?
I just thought it was decent. I like this setup. I like this group. Not a lot of it came up on the Hulu NXT.
Yeah.
Was the match removed?
Yep.
I'll be honest, probably because it was like 6 minutes of Ridge Holland just beating the absolute shit out of this guy.
Yeah.
which was in its own way impressive, but
yeah. And for like 3 minutes of it, he had his little watermelon jacket on.
Yeah. Jiro kept the jacket on for most of the match.
I was like, oh my god, take it off. You're going to ruin it. I love
And after the match for the promo, fucking Holland puts on his little fucking hat and his fucking brings a stick over so that way while he's cutting the promo, he's in his gimmick. It was so fucking dope, dude. I'm loving Ridge Holland. I loved it.
Big plus.
Was the Frankie Monet promo on Hulu?
Nope. I'm okay with that.
Well, she cut a segment against Robert Stone where she was basically putting him in his place.
Yeah.
And telling them like love it or leave it kind of a deal, and walks away, and Jessica May walks away with her, and then Robert's all like, well, why wouldn't you love it? I would never leave it kind of a deal. And it really checked Robert Stone, which I enjoyed. And I think it's the best promo that Frankie's cut since she's been there. Personally. Amanda, tell me what you thought.
Well, I'm liking that they're finally kind of using Frankie Monet in a way that you're not like, oh,
much better.
Okay, much better way. I don't know, maybe because she basically put Robert Stone in his place. I don't know, but I liked it. So, yeah, the whole, I know you guys are used to being losers.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Whatever that phrase was. I was just like,
and I'll say this much, Klump. I'm not saying it was worth making sure you go out of your way to check it out, but I will say don't fast forward through her stuff moving forward if it's anything like this. You know what I mean? She might finally be on the right track.
Okay. I'm not against her. I'll take more of a look on it. I think that just the last thing I really saw of her, and I'm not saying this.
Yeah. All of her stuff's been flat.
Well, and I'll be honest, like her last match I watched, it was not bad, but it felt old, like in the sense of it felt like a Divas match.
Yes.
A Divas moveset. Like, we're going to keep doing ass-based combat?
Yep.
Like,
and she hasn't, she felt special coming in and has not felt special since she arrived.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
This promo started to make me think maybe she's special. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I'm not saying go out of your way, but I am saying, like, as she moves forward, if this is any indication, she might be one to start keeping your eye on. Because I do feel like that's a thing with NXT. I feel like a lot of times they bring in someone from the indie with hype and give them like that slow burn at the top where you're just kind of like, I don't know what the fuck the hype was about. And then you get to a point where you go, oh, this is what the hype was about. And I feel like we're right on the edge of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Shinsuke and Samoa Joe, those guys came in and just fucking wrecked house, and everyone was all like, yup. And Balor. But, all right. Well, if that was that, after that we had Roderick Strong and the Diamond Mine against Bobby Fish. Was that on Hulu, Klump?
No.
Okay, Amanda?
I was
Thoughts?
excited. I love this Bobby Fish. And I get why you're, pushing Roddy. I get it. I don't really understand the Diamond Mine still. So, whatevs. But it was great to see Bobby Fish looking really good out there. I mean, I don't know. I was such a big fan of Red Dragon, him and Kyle, that, I'm kind of still not over that. So, but that's just me.
Bishop is in the chat saying, night, my friends. I got to go catch up on the podcast tomorrow. Cheers, buddy. Thank you for coming through. We appreciate it every time. But go ahead, Amanda. I personally, at this point, I don't know why, but Diamond Mine seems so static to me right now.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's I don't know if it's because, well, for one, Roddy really isn't like Mr. Charisma. Never has been, probably never will be. And then not only that, but it's just like it just doesn't really, I don't know what it's supposed to be. If someone would tell me, that'd be great, because I really don't get it. Like it makes me feel kind of dumb.
I thought he had charisma when he was in that storyline with Bobby Roode. Mm-hmm. And I thought that there was a certain point during Undisputed Era when he was tagging with Kyle O'Reilly that something was kind of happening there.
Yeah.
But it's like these glimmers of personality, and so for whatever reason, to me, the Diamond Mine feels like the saltine cracker of factions.
Yeah.
Palatable.
It's like,
but inoffensive.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking for a cracker, that's going to do it. But it's like, I'm not going to tell people, hey, have you checked out these saltine crackers? There's something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, they're awesome. Yeah, no.
Yeah. It's like you walk by somebody at work and like, oh, what are you snacking on? They go, saltine crackers. You go, oh, nice. You know what I mean? Like.
But to be fair about Bobby Roode, though, Bobby Roode is, I mean, he's great.
Oh, yeah.
But like with Roddy, like he just never has been, someone with a big personality that comes across, on TV. I mean, in person, in smaller settings, like the indie settings, okay. But not in this kind of venue. And there's just some people that it doesn't suit them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's a victim of one of them.
Yeah, it's a little weird. And I think the match was good, but I just wasn't invested in it because it also didn't matter to me what happens moving forward. Whoever wins, wins, and whoever loses, loses, and it didn't matter at all. Yeah. It was
but
like
I like seeing Bobby Fish out there. I like seeing Bobby Fish.
They're two of the best guys from Undisputed Era, and for whatever reason, now that they're not in Undisputed Era, they literally have like less shine than they've ever had.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's sad.
But they're fantastic talents, and the match was good, but it just like, I don't know, man, just felt staticky. After that, though, was Cameron Grimes and LA Knight against the Grizzled Young Veterans. Klump, did they leave this one in there at least?
Yes, this one was in there. Decent. Like, it was okay. I did, well, it was more than decent. Cameron Grimes killed it. I felt a little bit weird with how it all played out. Like I don't know necessarily where the story's going with Cameron and LA Knight, and it felt more muddled with it. But fuck, Cameron Grimes is amazing.
The promo before the match, the promo after the match, the stuff with $1 Million Man, the stuff with LA Knight running out on Cameron Grimes during the match and saying you're on your own. Cameron taking the gloves off and stuff.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm not sure exactly where we're going, other than probably a rematch of some kind.
Yeah, but like in the tag match, like they were, I don't know. Like I hope it's that, but it to me felt a little bit like at points like, are y'all gonna try and do this like as odd couple coming together kind of thing? Because Cameron Grimes is just too supportive,
Yes. Do you
Like,
think
he
it's
plays it well.
possible that this ends in Cameron Grimes getting the $1 million title off of LA Knight, and LA Knight moves to the main roster? Do you think this is like the one storyline LA is going to see through and then move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's got main roster written all over him, so I could see that being the place he goes. But I also
Just
feel
so
like,
polished.
yeah, but I don't know. Like, I think part of it is just the verbiage we utilize when we say like, moving on to the main roster. Like, is this another space for another person to just kind of jump over lines, or I don't know where does NXT land? Because to me, NXT produces some of the better content of anywhere. So
Yeah.
why'd you want to go there?
Mm. Well,
I also argue. Good.
I think LA Knight is such a superstar. I mean, I just don't know why he wouldn't be like, hey, I'm going to SmackDown to get that fucking title. Like, just in his own mind, like, he's the type who could believably get to the same level as Roman Reigns over time. I feel like.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he would want... He's not like an Adam Cole or Gargano where they come in and you go, yep, NXT's the right place for them. This is where he belongs and they'll stay here a long time. LA Knight comes in and you go, this guy needs to be in front of a lot more people. In my mind.
Fair.
He's just so polished and clean and good at this. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's only doing one real story arc before he moves out. You know what happened here, too, that was really weird, just made note of? When they're making their entrance, LA Knight and Cameron Grimes, a little ticker came in the corner that said, in 15 minutes, it says, Simone Biles competes in 15 minutes on NBC. It literally had a commercial to say, change the channel in 15 minutes. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Well,
Great.
I'll say this. This Olympics, I don't know what it is. I love the Olympics. Okay. Winter, I'm a little bit more of a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie. But so I like watching, the Olympics period, and this year I've not watched anything. I don't know if it's because I don't have time or it's just Peacock and I just don't want to look at the cock to watch that stuff. But yeah, no, I'm not as into it.
Yeah.
Um,
What did you think of this matchup and stuff? I think it was all done to perfection. And if I'm being honest, my favorite parts almost every week of NXT are LA Knight, Cameron Grimes, and whatever surrounds them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, for me, I love just the kind of the yin and yang with it and how polarizing they've made the fans. Like, it's like, yay, and you see them, and the whole thing. And I think that I don't want it to end. I really don't, but it has to.
Yes.
Because I think both of them could be on to bigger and better things. Now, does the Cameron Grimes character transfer well to the main roster? Probably not.
Maybe not. Yeah, it's definitely an argument.
But he's so goddamn over, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's great. Like, and I think if he did do a transition, he'd have to kind of have DiBiase with him for a little bit.
Yes. Because
I think that would sell it a little bit more so. But I think that if they continue to have those like funny little vignettes and stuff and do that, that would be more of a success. I mean, LA Knight, shit, the guy can, That guy's worse than a used car salesman. I mean, he can sell you anything. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. You know what's funny too when you say it like that, even all the LA Knight and Cameron Grimes stuff could have been on SmackDown and it would have fit just fine.
Yeah.
All of it. Where most of the time with NXT stuff, that's not the case. Most of the time, it's very NXT. It fits right here. This is all the program that's happening that you're like, this could have been in blue, for sure.
I don't know if it's because of the level of talent that those two have. But I really think for Cameron Grimes, he's hit the nail on the head, so to speak, with this character. And I think that even before, you're on Impact, you got, TV time and stuff, but it's now like it's a different thing, and to be really kind of almost beloved like he is, I mean, it's incredible. So I'm a fan of both, but I've been a fan. Said that on day one, and I knew you guys would come around to him. I knew it because he's so good. They both are really good.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I mean, it was just a huge highlight. Very, very entertaining. Very good. I agree with all that. As we go through it, though, this is where like some of the video promos start coming through, right? So like Dakota Kai had a big video segment.
Yeah.
It was weird that they...
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was saying, it's weird that on Hulu they had this, which it's great, it's a building story, but they had this, but not other like show bits.
Yeah, it was a lot in this one. It was really stacked with vignettes. Like when you really broke it down, it was all like, hey, it was almost like match, vignette, vignette, match. Is kind of almost how it built out. It was like, huh.
There was quite a bit of it. I didn't mind it, but if you're watching Hulu, I'm sure probably 80% of it got cut.
Oh, well, yeah, with Hulu. I don't know how many vignettes made it. Did the Dakota Kai vignette made it for you, Klump?
Yeah, the Dakota Kai vignette made it. It was neat. It was awesome. Like, I enjoyed it.
I loved the way they broke it down and used the clips and talked about the entire iteration of Raquel on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. Anything you want to say about it other than, I thought it was perfectly done. I wish all of especially every time a turn happened on someone, I wish they all responded with a video package like this, to be honest. Like a week later, obviously.
What I liked about it in watching it was, so one, WWE makes the best promo segments.
Yes.
They are great at mixing and cutting their stuff up to make the best story ever. Sometimes to the point, hey, like I didn't have to watch a year's worth of Raws in the lead up to WrestleMania 17, but goddamn WrestleMania 17, those promos amazing. And this is another one. And I like they pulled so many small little things that at the time I'm sure that this wasn't thought of or if it was good on them for doing it, but they made it work. That the 3 champions thing and her walking out of the ring, I was like, fuck, y'all are great at putting this together. I love this.
Yeah, 100%. I think that it's almost to the point where I remember if you followed the story of Bianca and Sasha to Mania, it was like, this story is fucking weird and spotty and it doesn't quite make sense and it's forced. And then you watch the video package before the match and you go, oh, that's how they saw it. And this is amazing. And moving forward, no one will ever watch the build again. They'll watch that video package and the match and they will say, fucking classic. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. You're right. They put it together in such a way where it's all like, hey, I know there was a lot of thorns and such, but look what happens when we smooth it out. And you go, oh, it was there the whole time. Like, so I agree. And I loved this one. Absolutely loved it. Let me see. Anything you want to say on it, Amanda?
No. No. It just, I love, the vignettes for some reason on NXT this week were just they were great. There was purpose, and I was very impressed.
Yeah.
I like me a good vignette. I'm not gonna lie.
And as much as I keep thinking of Raquel and Dakota just being so physically different and not quite on the same level, that whole package put together, and I was like, fuck, I don't know. Dakota's coming off real believable here, and it is nice.
Yeah.
After
Made
that,
you
let's
think.
see. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. The NXT Breakout Tournament, Trey Baxter versus Joe Gacy. That was a good match. It was better than the last breakout match we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That dick from Arizona was terrible.
Wasn't he? Wasn't that weird how bad he was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't shit on our state with terrible people. There are decent wrestlers out here.
Yeah.
I have yet to see many of them other than Hammerstone and technically Shawn Michaels, but I'm sure they exist.
Yeah.
There's other ones. We got.
I'm
a
sure
couple.
there's some in Delaware too, but I doubt it. Though.
No, fuck that.
Yeah, it's hard to say on that one.
Yeah.
Just trying to be nice.
Yeah, but this one was good, and I liked that Baxter got the one, and Gacy looked better than I thought he would, just given the general look and prejudice that I have.
Yeah.
So
They both were real good. I didn't realize that. Well, I mean, both of them were pretty good, but I don't know why I didn't realize that Gacy was on NXT. I don't know. Call it a brain fart.
I think that he's one of those real new signs. So
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit different.
Because a lot of the last signings are already been on NXT. pretty
Mhm.
much.
Oh, he was CCW, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I didn't realize. I'm like, whoa. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, so no wonder he's better than I thought.
Yeah.
After that was the Io Shirai thing. Was Io and Lacey, or not Lacey, was Io and Zoe Stark on the Hulu version, Klump?
Nope.
I'm not
Oh, well,
surprised.
you
It
didn't
came
miss-
off really weird. Go ahead, Amanda. Tell me
I
what you
think
thought of it.
Yo, you didn't miss anything. This was the one vignette that I'm like, I could have lived without. I didn't need to see, Zoe Stark try to eat octopus tentacles.
It was a little comedic.
And-
it was a lot comedic.
Yeah,
but
it was. And as an Asian person, I was a little offended, but whatever.
were you a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
It's fine. It's why we're
Yeah.
talking.
I don't know. It just kind of felt like it because at the end of it, didn't she ask me, "Oh, do you know each other?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, hold up. Just because we all in the tribe.
Well,
Yes, I did slant my eyes. It does not
To
mean,
be- but to be fair, the appearance of did you know each other was because of how friendly and chatty they seemed to each other.
Yeah,
she's-
but also that's
But-
also another Asian stereotype too. So I don't know, maybe because I'm yellow, I'm ultra sensitive, but
Maybe I'm way off. I think that they were trying to build the idea that Io is being more friendly to the waitress than she was to her tag partner.
yeah, I can see that. But also like
So
with Zoe, like some of the faces, like when she was eating like the stuff and then you throw. I mean
Yeah.
that in a lot of Asian culture is very disrespectful.
oh
So-
yeah, that was disrespectful as shit. I mean, it was
Yeah.
disrespectful to a restaurant in general.
Yeah, but well, no,
She threw food at the
that
wall at one
shit
point.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a Denny's. There was a wrestler with us. I don't know if he'll want me to. It was Janela.
Story checks out.
Story checks out.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I did it first. I was like, what the fuck is up with this? Because I had pancakes and they weren't cooked all the way through. I was like, what the fuck is up with this shit? And I like fucking tossed it behind me and it hit the window because that was the way I was sitting.
So
And
funny.
it just was like, and you could see it like not cooked.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting to know. I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't personally offended, but I can understand why you were.
Maybe I was ultra sensitive about it, but there was a lot of things I'm like, I get, like it's like when JR uses the word Oriental.
Mm-hmm. It also did seem, I do remember watching it and thinking, oh, are they going to do that stupid thing where it's like Asians eat gross food? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because also.
And they did.
They did. Yeah. And although every culture has a type of food that other cultures are not that into, I do find it a little bit of a stretch, the idea of going to dinner with someone you would intentionally try to get things that might gross them out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's what it felt like. It was like, oh, Io's intentionally, and maybe that's part of the story they're trying to tell. Io's actively working against Zoe instead of just not working with her at all. Maybe.
Yeah, but it is kind of.
Yeah.
Isn't there a better way to tell the story?
There is. Now, had they gone to, I don't know, they gone to like, it's almost like, I don't know, like if they had gone to like McDonald's, let's just say, right? Or a very Americanized like restaurant, that probably wouldn't happen. And you could have done it in a different way, but it's just the manner in which they chose to do it, I think, is like, come on now. Come on. In this day and age, and especially with the Stop Asian Hate, all the stereotypes were coming out. So I was, dude, this is so not like, this is not the place, not the time. I will give AEW kind of credit that at least with, their Japanese folk, there's some things that, you look at it and, the giggle, oh, like the little magical girl and the, and then Rio, but, looking like a Harajuku girl. But, that's part of Japanese culture. I mean, that's that, and Shida and everything. And, but I like that they're not bringing those stereotypes into it. This one was blatant, like, whoa. I mean, the next thing you're going to do is, why don't you put her them in a car and have EO drive, and then, want to go there, Asian drivers, hey.
That's true. And for people who aren't actively involved in cultures, the idea of part of the culture and part of a stereotype can be very fuzzy for those who aren't actively involved. And that's why a lot of people ought just stay out of that conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
so I can see that for sure too. Where
Yeah,
it's all like,
it's
well, isn't this part of your culture? Like, no, that's a stereotype. There's a difference.
No, it's a stereotype. It also is kind of shame on you guys because of the whole stuff with ACH when he was there, and when he kind of lost his shit when he was released. Yeah, and I'm like, come on, I thought you guys had known by now. And not all Pacific Islanders are Samoan. That's the other thing I don't like about you. WWE. I think there is somebody else, I think, that they were like, oh, they're Samoan. No, they're not Samoan. They're not all related.
Yeah.
Okay, I know majority of them are all related, but no.
Let's see.
Well, not like the island. It's like you have small families that like a rather large family that this is a big thing, but it's
a huge like tribe of like of them all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but just because someone has the look of an islander doesn't mean they're Samoan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Oh yeah, I mean, and even look at Yokozuna was a Samoan who was billed as Japanese just because he looked different enough, right? So yeah, that shit happens, and it's not great. But I mean, at the same time, in defense of Yokozuna, if you could, there were non-Japanese sumo wrestlers as well. So but he was billed as Japanese. He said from Tokyo, Japan. So to hit the chat a little bit, Micah did say the salt mine, referring to my take on the diamond mine for sure.
Oh, salt mine.
And Micah says, I would want Grimes to follow Knight to the main roster as the Butler to feud with Roman, and Knight can claim his Butler is better than Roman's. Then we get Knight versus Jay and Jimmy. I mean, they would pull it off.
A good one. I like that.
They would
I like
fucking
it.
pull it off, you know. Oh, my
Yeah.
butler does a much better job than your butler seems to do. Hey,
Yeah.
I ain't nobody's butler. New T-shirt.
Yeah.
And it says, and it justifies a Jay versus Grimes match on a pay-per-view where Knight versus Roman happens, and it fuels that tension in the Usos and Roman. And the promos between Roman Heyman against Grimes and Knight would be fire, 100%. We'll talk about fucking people good on the mic, yeah. Put a mic in the hand of LA Knight, Cameron Grimes, Paul Heyman, and Roman, and say, hey guys, go take up 10 minutes of TV time.
Oh,
You got
Jesus
it.
Christ. That'd be like the best minutes of TV during the week.
Yeah,
Hands down.
you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's cool? I'm glad we got your insight on that one. Right after that was Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross comes out. He talks some mad shit. Joe comes out, beats the shit out of security, and Kross is gone, thus building more tension towards Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross. Was this in your cut?
It was.
Had to be.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, it was good. I like the intensity here of it. I like the idea behind it. I like what they're building. I get the idea that it seems like we're gonna have Joe take the title, Karrion goes up, cool. But what I don't like is it does. I don't know. It does feel like everything that Joe said 3 weeks ago is fucking gone, or 4. Okay, you could. I think you could have a version of this where you still maintain like, I'm not gonna go to your level and be intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
That's true. That's true, because he was there to create order, and now he's creating chaos, for sure.
Yes.
Hey, was the Samoa Joe video package on there earlier? Because earlier in the night, there was like this package of like, hey, Samoa Joe is this guy. What do you think of that?
That was good. That was really good.
Fucking loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, everything Joe's fantastic. Dude's the best.
But it is also a little hypocritical. So
This
I
is
get
fair.
you there. Amanda, what'd you think?
Well, I love both of those guys, but the only problem I have is obviously with Kross and the roster and the matches he's had so far. I'm like, dude, it's pretty much it's not. I don't know. Did they wreck it a little? I think so. Because that's not how he should have been introduced to the main roster. He needed the entrance. I mean, he needed that oomph,
wow.
The why should I fucking care?
The wow factor for sure.
Yeah, the wow factor. Because honestly, like he's just another big meathead, and who cares? He didn't have his arm candy with him, and whatever. So yeah.
100%. I agree. After that, we had another video package, though. Walter and Ilya.
Yes.
Prime target. Talk about it, Amanda.
Oh, shit. People just don't know. That's just, oh man, that's going to be epic. Okay. And this is in Vegas, right? Or am I not mistaken? Or am I mistaken?
I don't think they've announced where it's going to be yet. We know it's happening the same weekend as SummerSlam, but we don't know where yet.
I thought they said it was the after SummerSlam, the Monday or something after.
It's the Sunday after SummerSlam, because SummerSlam's on a Saturday, but it didn't say where.
Oh.
And they haven't said tickets on sale. And people have taken note of that, because we don't know what that means.
Marsh, if you don't go, I swear to God, I will come find you.
If it's not in Vegas, I'm not going to be there.
But if it's in Vegas, though.
Well, then it's going to be a difficult pill. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if not, hey, WWE still has the Thunderdome, I hope. But but that I can right now just picturing it in my head. And even when I was watching the video package, I could feel all those damn Walter chops. And Ilya too is like that match is going to be intense. Totally there for it. And people just, when you see big dudes like a Keith Lee, and then you look at like Walter, Like Walter, it just is another level of big guy. It's totally different. I mean, Keith Lee, again, he's another one. Different level of big guy. Kind of like Jeff Cobb.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that this one, holy shit. Because I don't think Ilya is that big. And actually, to be quite honest, I think he's probably maybe just a little smidge bigger than Adam Cole.
Yeah, he's kind of small, but he comes off as a fucking crazy badass fighter.
He's
a
like
little
a motherfucker
fucking,
who's like deranged.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's like a fucking mongoose.
Yeah, and you could feel that energy like when you see him live. Like, man, when I saw him at Bola, I was like, holy fuck. This dude is just, yeah.
Yeah. And I love they had Sheamus and McIntyre and Regal all talking about these guys.
Mm-hmm. That's the awesome thing.
Kiro does say in the chat, though, he says TakeOver 36 is said to be seen in the CWC. Wherever you see that, I believe you. I haven't seen anything, and that's my hunch. Has been that because they're not announcing where, that it's not going to be a place where they can sell tickets, because I think you'd be selling tickets by now.
So they don't.
Go ahead.
They don't sell tickets to the CWC?
Not really.
No, because I'm still going to Orlando in November, and I want to see NXT live.
If you want to see NXT live, send me a message, and we'll see if we have enough connections through the grapevines to maybe see about it. But I do know we have a mutual friend who has friends that go regularly, and there is something along the lines of some sort of email that they've been getting about when and where type of a deal. So we'll see if there's anything we can do. But as of right now, the CWC is, from what we can tell, not just open tickets. So
yeah, I'm not going to be one of those obnoxious people that, booing like, who was it? They were booing. Was it LA Knight that one time?
MSK. Or? They're booing MSK like dicks.
MSK, yeah, that's right. I'm not going to be one of those. No, I mean, I probably could ask people, because there are people in the grapevine.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But back to the show. Klump, what did you think about this prime target between Ilya and Walter breakdown of this match?
Guess what? Didn't show up.
Oh, my God, dude. Dude, now this is one I said don't look up that promo. You got to look at this. I mean, we've talked about a bunch of times how good their videos are. This video is like, oh, the most important match of the decade is this match right here. Yeah. And you didn't even know it was coming, is the feel of the whole thing. And it was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
I'll look at it.
You can probably find it on their YouTube. If it's not, I'll find it. Like, tell me if you can't find it, and I'll locate something with it, and then I'll get it to you.
I'll take a look for it.
Yeah.
It was redeeming after the whole Io Zoe vignette. I will say.
Yes. Let's see, but that does bring us to, there has been a storyline intertwined into this entire show, where it started with a little backstage segment, and then a interview, and then an interview with somebody else, and then this match, and it was the Indy Hartwell, Johnny Gargano versus Dexter Lumis in a love her or leave her match. Even the opening segment of the show, they had an opening vignette where they're like, previously on NXT. And watching the opening segment, I thought, if I didn't already know I was going to be watching this show, I would have turned it off, because it made it look like, in case you didn't know, wrestling is a sitcom. And they really played up the indie Dexter stuff as such a corny high school sitcom, and nothing they did in the story. This was their through story that, like we were talking about with Front Row earlier, this was the story arc that went through the show that everything else kind of revolved around. And it was, to me, childish to the point of absurdity, to the point of not interested, to the point of you've ruined Dexter Lumis. Am I off base here? I know people like it. Klump, what did you think of this?
I mean, I know people like it. I don't hate it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I do hate that it was the end of the show. I don't think that, I was like, this is really the way we're ending this shit? Okay, fuck. Like, it just felt like way weird and overblown. I also, because of the amount of times we had Johnny up there, I was like, oh, I just realized the Waze logo is the Avengers logo. Fuck Johnny Moore.
Yeah. That was
It took you that long to notice? I noticed that the first thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why
I
I hated it
don't-
right away. But it's okay.
Yeah, but like,
You're on board
but it
now.
was, yeah, it wasn't a match. It was a bunch of weird. It was an AEW end.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was a lot of
I don't. Yeah, it was. This would have been great in the middle. This would have been okay to begin it. It was just. This would have been great right before the main event. It was just weird.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
didn't need to be on Hulu, but it was.
I hated it. Dexter loses, and then Indy turns her back on the way and goes and jumps on Dexter, and they start doing the fake as kissing. I mean, if you're even gonna do it, just fucking do it. Like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
just start
couldn't
fucking.
even commit. Yeah, just commit.
No.
And it was just all of it looked like a high school play, and I hated it. But Amanda, did you find anything redeeming about this?
No. I'll tell you how exciting this was. So I was watching it last night, and I fell asleep.
Yeah, I wish I did.
Because it was Gargano. I mean, there was nothing. To me, it was like, man, because I woke up and I'm like, whoa, everything's off. I must have, I don't know what I missed, but obviously it wasn't anything great because I fell asleep. But I already, from the get-go, was already like, God, this is stupid.
He's so
to begin
choreographed and phony.
And it's going to be, the damn main event. I'm like, how boring is this shit?
100%, the show could have ended with the Walter Ilya video stuff, and I'd have been fine with that.
and that would have
I'd
been
have
great.
been like, yep. All right. Well, if we got nothing good to say about any of this, we won't. But I will hit the chat real quick, and we'll wrap things up here. We'll get to last call in just a second. We did have a little bit of a late start, all things considered, so I appreciate everybody hanging on tight, especially Klump.
No,
Not
it's
even
not
you,
your
Klump.
fault. It's me.
Yeah, we planned
to
on
get
you,
my
Klump, and
sponsored
then yeah, and then Amanda had a thing come up, and so yeah, we ended up getting started late anyways, and then you just happened to be coming in late anyhow, so it didn't look like you were gone that long. So it worked out in that regard. But Micah does say, is it bad PR for AEW and WWE if they have to reschedule events again and go back to static location for an amount of time? Feels like it would look bad to the mainstream that they went back too early. That's a good question. If they said, hey, we're out of the Thunderdome, we got the Summer of Cena, and then halfway through they go, back to the Thunderdome, does that look bad?
You
Or does
still
it look
get the Summer of
ambitious?
Cena. You still will get the Summer of Cena. It's
Yeah,
not-
Kuro, we're going to talk about that in a second. Yeah, but Summer of Cena doesn't mean as much if they're not selling tickets. But does it look bad in general? Do people say, like, hey, wrestling
No.
went back too soon?
No, because they're pulling the plug on a lot of things right now. Like, for example, in my area, there's a huge festival, Bottle Rock. Right now, it's a go. And California in Napa County just gave us you got to wear your mask indoors, in public indoor settings.
Yeah.
So regardless of, vaccination status, it's coming again. But I don't think everything's going to shut down like it did last time. But there's probably going to be limitations on events like this. If it's in a red state, probably they'll let it go. But, not all of us live in a red state.
I think what's unfortunate about it is, in how we do this and how this is going, wrestling could possibly be blamed and it shouldn't. This isn't a wrestling thing. The one thing I'd say I hope is maybe ask your fans to have masks because holy shit, maybe we should be doing this. I heard that MSG is going to require you to have proof of vaccination, which I support.
Yep.
Maybe we should be closing things down again, and that's rough because this is a product that was trying so hard to make it work during this, and it's getting affected.
That's true. The guys who are trying the hardest are the ones who are going to potentially look bad into it. I could see that.
Yeah.
I think it's a good question. I don't know that we have the answer, and I guess we'll see how it plays out. We'll see. I think I think that's all there is to it. It's just a good question that we have to see what happens, because I don't think we can speak on behalf of the mainstream or guess what they're going to say, because I think that both sides seem realistic. Micah does say, if their match is anything like the first one, talking about Walter and Ilya, he goes, I may have to watch NXT UK. Never been disappointed in what I see. Just don't have time and don't know characters enough to keep up. And I'll tell you, dude, honestly, it's the shortest watch of the week, and it's the one thing that producer gets the most upset about if we don't watch. And I don't think you need to know the characters and their stories to appreciate what you're seeing on the weekly. It's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it. And to be honest, if I was being fair and not just doing the kind of review stuff that we do, I would probably stop watching Raw for the most part and start watching NXT UK in its place. Just as far as like order of importance of quality wrestling.
Yeah.
If I'm being fair.
Sometimes I think that, I'd rather watch that than other things. But I will say that it's a different style of wrestling. So be prepared. Not a lot of flippy shit. So
the tag division is flippy, but not the rest of it, which is nice. It has a good balance.
No, yeah. And it's refreshing. But then again, I just like British wrestling, so
Yeah.
My heart's there.
That's a good point. Good point. And then, son of a bitch, man. Mike also says, I know we talked about this, Marsh, but are we positive that the way is not ironic at all? I think it still could be, because Gargano is not near a title, and he hasn't been for the past 4 to 5 and he's not near a title now, and he has been for the past 4 to 5 years. So the idea of the way being ironic, the Gargano way, I think that's the joke. I don't think it's a funny joke. I don't think it's compelling. I don't think it's main event worthy. I don't think that it's interesting to me. I think that he thinks he's hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that everyone around him tells him his shit doesn't stink.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that, if you look at everything around him, Dexter Lumis was compelling and fascinating. Indy Hartwell was up and coming and great. Austin Theory was said to be like the next Shawn Michaels. Like, people, or even I've heard people say the next John Cena. The idea of these people being around them was supposed to be like the biggest stars. At this point, every single person in the storyline is a fucking joke.
Oh, yeah.
And if that's the irony of it all, is they turned a whole bunch of promising prospects into fucking jokes, then I don't care if it's ironic or not. I'm not on board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's my view, but it's not so much to the irony of it. The joke of it is not as bad if it didn't go on so fucking long. We hear about storylines in wrestling that just go on and on and on, and people saying they get it. This, the fans that shit on Baron Corbin for how he did things for so long, not getting that this was the joke. The joke has run its course here. This is a perfect example of it running the course way too long versus a lot of other things. It's old and dumb, and we're just overdoing it. And it seems like we're justifying it by when it's criticized, and no, it's just shitty.
Yeah, it's just it's the perfect example of a childish thing. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff is for children. And like we said before, there's a certain level where you appreciate the idea that a lot of this stuff is geared towards younger people, and maybe some of it is for children. But I don't think there's any bit of me as an adult that appreciates this is like watching The Wiggles, where you watch it and you go, "Oh, it's a kid's show I'm watching." Where some of the other stuff you watch, like LA Knight and Grimes, you laugh at it and you go, I could see why kids would like it, but this is pretty good stuff. It's funny. It's silly. This is stuff where you go, oh, I'm watching Blue's Clues. This is for kids, right? And that's my thing with Gargano.
I wouldn't say
And the
Blue's
way.
Clues, I think Disney Junior.
Blue's
I think
Clues
Clues is
kid.
a little too advanced for Gargano.
That could be. That definitely could be. Well, guys, I appreciate you all coming through and hanging out and having a drink with us. Your drinking buddies here at the dive bar of the IWC. Oh my God. Klump, any final thoughts you want to get out there? I appreciate you coming in and hanging out a little bit later than you tend to.
No, I'm good here. I think it was overall an interesting week in wrestling. I don't know if I'd say it was the best week in wrestling, but it was a week in wrestling.
There's a lot to talk about this week in wrestling, a lot going on,
Yeah.
and I think that's what's exciting is we don't know where it's all going, and there's a lot of really exciting things happening, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
Amanda, any final thoughts?
Yeah, again, this was a really interesting week in wrestling. Next week, thank you, Tony Khan, for adding another 2 hours of me watching your stuff. And people I love to see, you don't have them wrestle. Big middle finger.
That's a great point.
I'm hoping, I don't, like Dark AEW Starks, I'm like, you need to let Ricky wrestle. Let some of these people wrestle. I mean, damn, give me a freaking, throw me a bone. Give me a Colt Cabana in there with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson versus whoever. I don't know. I don't care. Just give me some good stuff. I don't want to see
The Elite constantly.
Well, you have to, unfortunately. But I don't want to see Mark Sterling and Jade Cargill, whatever. Have the bitch wrestle. Okay? That's all I know. All I know. So that's my 2 cents.
Great point. With the addition of Rampage, I will say that at some point I'm only going to be even trying to keep up with one of them. And it will be interesting to see which is the one that turns out to be the one that I'm willing to watch versus the one that I just absolutely will not.
Well, what I will do for you next week is I will watch it live and I will let you know if there's anything that's redeeming. But wait a minute, what channel is it on? Because remember, I don't have cable.
Oh, they're both on TNT for right now, and then I think they're both getting moved to TBS.
God damn it.
So.
Okay, well, I'm going to pirate it again. So
yes,
Thank
we do not support, but definitely do it.
Yeah.
We do not support, like how the United States does not support selling weapons to terrorist countries in exchange for cocaine in the 80s.
I will say, one thing I am not pirating is GCW this weekend from Los Angeles.
Yep. GCW looks pretty good.
At the White Claw Cultural Center.
Mm-hmm. What?
Also known as, we've billed it after the first show they had there, we called it the White Claw Cultural Center.
Okay, I was to say, please God, tell me that's
bullshit. But
bullshit.
it's the Ukrainian Cultural Center. But we've called it that.
That's offensive.
And MLW is back. MLW is back, and they've had their shows as well. So GCW, MLW, check it all out.
Yeah.
And we
wait a
will
minute.
be here
I can't
to
watch
talk
it
about
next week. I can't watch Rampage next week.
All right, then
Or
don't.
whenever Rampage is. No, because that's West Coast Pro.
Yeah, watch West Coast Pro instead.
That'll be free if you have IWTV, and you'll see me there.
Why do I feel like it's going to be like WCW Thunder, where it's going to be like, hey, if you don't want to watch Hulk Hogan and Nash and Scott Hall, Juventud Guerrera is on Thunder.
Yeah. Is Perry Saturn your favorite? We hope so. Yeah.
Do you want to see the Flock minus Raven?
I just don't want to see the Acclaimed. I don't want to see these people we see all the damn time. Can you leave people out of it? Can you leave Mox out of it? Can you, we're already getting
We're gonna see.
Britt Baker versus.
We're gonna see. Is that
Baker.
gonna be on Rampage? Because the commercial for Rampage is like where the payoff happens, is more or less the whole thing.
What payoff? What payoff?
Watch the commercial. It says over and over again that this is where the big thing happens. So I wonder if all the shows on Dynamite lead to Rampage as a small pay-per-view thing, which may mean that Rampage might be the show worth watching and Dynamite might not.
Or it could be like a money shot. Like in certain settings, a money shot's a really interesting, fun thing that looks exciting, but in real life, it's just sticky and your eyes hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the truth.
Yeah.
I like that I got away with that joke.
Well,
Producer's asleep, isn't she?
She is, yeah. That's how you got.
Yeah, I was just saying, I didn't get an ew. Like an instant ew at a cum joke. Good job.
You did it. We'll find out in a couple days or not if she found it for the clips.
That better
But-
be our promo.
It should be a good
Isolate this.
But we'll see how it goes. All that stuff's going to air. We're going to figure out. We're going to sift through it. We're going to come back here for episode 1 and another round at the dive bar of the IWC to figure out what's worth it and what's not, and just keep it moving. Guys, we got at Crybaby Klump over there. We got at Miss Amanda Jane with a Y. I'm at Ref Marsh. We are at WOTR The Show. This is Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show. And we want you all to come back next week for a brand new episode 1. That's the last call, guys.
Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.